bang! What a shot from Curry! All right, we're online.
We're on YouTube, right?
Yeah, we're on YouTube, baby. What's good, ladies and gentlemen? It is Dope Check. We're back at it again. We've had a tournament. COD's back. It's a new year. New goals. New resolutions to attack. I put my goals down on paper yesterday. It's all on a big sheet in the main room. I get up in the morning. I get in there, get some sunlight in. I get a little health drink in. I write down my thoughts for the day, things I want to achieve. And there you go, new year. New year, new me. Nah, same me, but different me this year. I'm locking in this year.
This guy makes videos every day of his life and he's locked in?
No. To be fair, I'm locked in. But, like, you know, you could always be more locked in. This is the issue. Could always be more locked in.
Sure.
Nothing's changed on my end.
no updates from my side.
Nah, listen, if it ain't broke, don't try and fix it. You know, my life's great.
I like that.
You know?
That's actually
the only thing that can change really is probably me actually getting a bit more active. By active, I mean going to the fucking gym. But I'm waking up at 6 p.m. every day. It's choked.
Yeah.
You were on a mad thing for a bit, bro.
Wait,
you were on a mad thing for a bit with the gym.
Or like, does the sun, you know?
Yeah, when I go sleep.
Okay, yeah, nice. I like that.
Yeah, when I go sleep.
Yeah, when I go sleep. But like, it's great though because like I stream in the nighttime, our shows are in the nighttime. You know, like I don't really have to be awake for the day.
Mm-hmm.
Daytime's boring, I think.
You should go and live. You actually could go though. What if you went and lived in Thailand? Because they're 7 hours ahead. So like, you could live on the same schedule, but like actually see.
But like, I'm a fan of the nighttime. You know.
Okay, I hear that.
I wake up and it's dark.
I love that. That's how humans are meant to live, right? Yeah.
Shit's great.
Wow. Beautiful. What's
my
up, Billy Close? Welcome back.
My only updates are COD is back and I'm still waiting a couple more days to figure out where my February will have me. So we'll see. You know, very might be some news. Again, you see me here in this setting quite a bit, but you know, we'll see where my February takes me. We might have you on the world tour soon enough.
No way he's starting the world tour.
Valentine's Day in February. I see you, twin. I see you.
Very clever, very clever. But I see what you mean. But everyone's in here, man. 135 already.
Yeah,
wow.
we're already cooking.
Okay. What's up, everybody? What a good day. Everyone's already in here. At work, ready to go. Love that, D Magic. Is C9 back? We'll talk about that during the show for sure, man.
Fraud.
Yeah, no, I love how someone already was saying, I can't wait for Ace to defend C9, and that was on Twitter. It wasn't in here.
I saw that.
Were they wrong?
Yeah.
We'll see. It's time to find out.
See,
defend those bums. Defend them. I dare you.
It's going to be fun, man. But
not even Snaking could save him. Oh.
I will say a lot of claims on this show, even about FaZe, and I believe it was Trey that said it, was, they came to fruition. And half of our bracket was real good. It was real perfect. So a lot of good stuff coming out of us in the last show or two, you know?
No, we'll be getting into that. Don't worry about that, chat. Like, you know, we took a lot of flack for some of those predictions, and I'm not saying we got the bracket perfect, but, you know, we got some people to clown on. We got some people to say Dope Check is the most knowledgeable show in COD. Ain't gonna change.
It's not a shocker. Honestly, it's no shock.
Well, I'm never wrong.
Yeah, of course.
You know, prior to that bracket, of course, but you can't really predict the bracket. The only thing I said was, you know, beforehand that FaZe were going to win.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
FaZe are
but no one also believed that our Carolina, like, getting to the no one believed in that. We believed in it.
Yeah, because I don't get it. I don't get it. But we'll get into it more in the show so I can roast some of you dumb people.
Love that. Let's get some likes in the stream, by the way, for those that are here already. We appreciate you.
I think the OpTic fans have finally realized that, like, you know, shit ain't sweet.
So I'm saying.
It don't matter.
Scrims.
It don't matter if you got a house or not.
Oh, here we go.
Whoa.
Here we go.
All I'm gonna say, man, is they're missing a certain somebody on that team, and I feel like it's getting It's like a bad breakup. You know, at first they were confused, then they accepted, but now they're in denial again. The process steps of grief are happening currently, but they're gonna realize very, very soon that they need to make a phone call, like after Major 1.
No
They gotta
way.
make a phone call quick.
Wow, we're telling them to make a phone call right now. I see you.
Designer just said, before you roast Ant in the show, just know Ant stood on business again last night and called Carolina dog shit.
I respect it.
Well, okay, we'll get into it for sure, but like, yeah, Ant is playing unbelievable.
Bro, he's going rogue. What the fuck?
He's
unbelievable. He's going rogue, but he's backing up his beef. So I gotta, I tip it. Honestly.
Trey.
He's been the most entertainment COD has had in a while, and that guy is so adamant and been causing such a stir that he actually got an S&D Pro 8s going. Let's think about that for a minute now.
He got Paul X in there, he had Skies in there, Neptune in there, Arcetes was in there.
Illy was in there.
Illy was in there, obviously.
Like, that's unbelievable. Like, that's called, you know what that's called? That's called motion right there.
That's called motion, though.
That's true motion right there. He literally made it happen after talking shit.
I will say though, like, it's kind of fascinating how there is, like, narratives are being spun by the day. You know, some people, they think Shotzzy took it too far. They're not happy about his antics. Some people, they think Shotzzy's trying his best for the scene. My take is that Shotzzy came to Halo, won the Halo 5 World Championship in 2018, and the scene basically died straight afterwards. And although it recovered a bit with Halo Infinite, Halo Esports is still in a pretty rough spot, and increasingly so every single year that goes by. Even OpTic, I'm sure, were having their questions on whether it was a good idea to stay in Halo this year. So Shotzi's seen that unfold, and he doesn't want the same thing to happen in COD. This is my read on it anyway. That Shotzzy sees some parallels, and he don't want the same fate to happen to this scene. And it's not like we can't change things. So Shotzi's trying his best, and whether he's lost the plot or not on occasion, like, whatever, it is what it is.
I don't know why it's like been a lot of fans take it like personally when a player starts talking a little bit. Like, I went to the OpTic off-season event, and people were talking a lot about how Scrap is like their most overrated, needs to be humbled, XYZ. I feel like there's a slight shift, very small because still an OpTic player, but like they are definitely fans that are like, oh, the success is getting to his head, and like they're kind of like not seeing the positive of it and only looking at him talking crazy, so negative. I don't get why we're like so unconfident as a fan base that people can talk shit and all of a sudden we're turning on them. What are we doing here?
There's also one thing I'll say that I've noticed over the last couple of days is like how quickly people, and I'm not saying I'm like immune from this necessarily, I think it's like a human flaw, but how quickly something will happen and people will make a judgment on their character and then like just run with it ad infinitum, right? So like obviously we're going to talk about it a bit on the show, but everything that happened with the snaking thing and then Benjay and accuracy and this type of stuff, and like accuracy then, look, people were saying, wow, Lamar, this guy, like what a crybaby, this guy's a terrible person. And then obviously Zuma didn't like immediately back up Ben, and then people were saying, oh, Zuma's like, you know, terrible friends, must be just an awful person. And like I'm seeing these Reddit comments on like there was one moment that happened on a stream that, okay, whatever, like to me it's just entertaining, and people are making these judgments on like, oh, this guy's a terrible person, this guy's clearly a terrible person, like Ben's, you know, like the only level head in the room, and then the very next day they're chatting again because they've made up about it and they've been gentlemen about it, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh no, you know, Zuma's a great guy. Like, what are we talking about here, right? Like I've seen this all the time over the last few days.
Yeah, it's like a day-to-day bipolar attitude about everyone in the community. But I mean, let's be fair. Lamar, Ben, Tommy a little bit, but I feel like there's certain heads in the community that have you know, the fans have a lot more varying fluid opinions on them depending on just the day. Some days people love Ben. Some days people hate Ben. Some days people tell Ben to stop talking. Some people sometimes Ben says something and they're like, "Oh Ben, go crazy." So like it's just day to day with them, and like Lamar's another one of those figures too. So the fact that it was both of those going head to head, I think that sparked a little bit of.
I'm always down for
sparked a lot
some
of opinions.
entertainment, right? But like I've seen the opinions on Shotzzy seem to change by the hour as to whether this guy is like, he's taking it too far, he's so entitled, or whether like he's actually being the savior of the community or whatever, right? Like I don't know. It's very interesting to me, but I'm not going to complain because at the end of the day, while the CDL itself is in a pretty tricky spot, you look at some of the engagement numbers that you can still get if you're a COD pro tweeting about stuff on Twitter, still as good as it's ever been. Like Shotzi's doing a tweet banging out 10k likes. Obviously, your boy, chairman of the Vegas Falcons, talking about running the Challengers event for OpTic if they put the money in, 13k likes or whatever. So, the interest in COD is still there.
Yeah. That actually is a really solid point, that the social media side of COD. It's weird that once a little drama comes out, there's almost more interaction on the social media side than there sometimes is on the gameplay side.
100%.
And that goes in.
Well, that's everything though.
No, and that was what I was gonna say. I said, and that is literally why I love this stuff, because that's what keeps the scene alive. It's like the drama, the storylines, the narratives, the chatter about some incident or something someone says goes way further than, oh, that was a good game. Oh, FaZe just won the minor. It doesn't really go past that. Like it doesn't.
Yeah, no one cares about the gameplay. They just care about the drama. It's fine.
Exactly. It goes like 1-2 days, but the drama, we've been talking about Shotzzy for what, 2 weeks now? 3 weeks now? 2 weeks? So
I mean, he's in the thumbnail every day at this point.
he's been cooking for you, huh?
I ain't complaining. Shotzi's always got something to say right now. It's no longer. There was a time where Scrappy was the one doing most of the hard carrying. Obviously, we had the dashy seasons. When Scump retired, I was a bit concerned. I thought my career might be over when Scump retired. But,
I'm sure there were a lot of people, even players, who thought their careers probably were going to be over since Scump retired.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but times changed.
I mean, to be honest, since he retired, it has been kind of downhill for the scene. Not the scene, but like the CDL. It's been like more on the downhill since he retired, to be fair.
We're going to start the show in a couple of minutes. Actually, we've got like 350 people in the race. I think it's time to do the roll call.
Ah, okay. Let me, everybody, welcome to the pre-show for Dope Check. We'll get started in a minute here, but if you're here, if you're watching, let me see that you're active. Let me see that you're engaged with us, man. Where are you watching from? Say the city, say the state, say the area code, say the province, say the country. Whatever you want to rep, let us know in the chat. We want to see what you represent today. Even if you want to put your COD team, put your COD team in there. Whatever, man. Just let us know.
Let's get that credit card number. Let's get that social security code. Let's get the
And if
3
you're on the
digits
Trey
the
wave,
back.
body count number.
Bringing it back for 2025.
It's crazy. Mine hasn't changed since
It's
last year. That ain't even
that's unusual for Trey, right?
That ain't even like some ass joke about like, it hasn't been 30 days. It's been a while, and I'm okay with that. I'm
Good man.
I'm
My
walking,
man's locked in. That's
Yeah,
why
he's locked in
walking
for
and-
2025, baby.
if you want me to be real, I just I play GTA till 8 a.m. Go sleep, wake up at 6 p.m. Play a bit of Marvel. Right? Maybe I'm a nerd.
you're a
No,
gamer, bro. You're on true gamer
surely
schedule right
not.
now. Like
Surely
no
not.
bullshit. You are.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I just don't care about that life.
All right, that's
I care about getting. Yeah, I care about the Breaking Point show. My boys, my dogs.
My dog.
That's it. Just locked in.
That and the bread. That
We
the
got a
bread and
Diddy's
the-
room.
and
We got an
storyline, man.
Algeria. We got a Kansas City, Kansas.
All right, I saw Farmers Branch in there. Shout out Farmers Branch.
Let's go.
Is that a shop?
Farmers Branch? No, it's a city. It's like near Dallas.
Fres
It's like
hot out
it's
of
within
Norwich.
Dallas, but it's outside Dallas.
I've
Mexico,
been
shout
to
out.
Norwich a couple of times.
Puerto Rico, Minneapolis.
Stockholm,
I'm like
Sweden.
an hour away from Norwich.
Yeah, I used to go Norwich a
Plain
couple
view.
of times when I was swimming. They've got a nice pool there at the University of East Anglia.
Germany. Zilana, what's up?
It's just Germany. Like,
Why
it's
Trey
not,
got that?
it's not Munich.
Why
it's
Trey
not,
got that? Someone just said why Trey got that F-boy haircut. So I go short hair with blonde hair. Everyone calls me a fuckboy. I go long hair with a little bit of swaz, and everyone calls me a fuckboy. Maybe you're an idiot.
No way.
I'm be honest, like comparatively, the blonde to this, it's like, it's night and day. Like to compare which one's more of an F-boy cut, it's like not like I don't know. Maybe he's new. Maybe he didn't see the original. You know, maybe he didn't see the OG cut.
I went back and like watched an episode, or like I stumbled across it. I was not expecting Trey to look the way that he looked. I forgot the cuts that you were rocking with like earlier this year. Like both look good, but I was like, holy shit, Trey looks so different.
That
I
was
look the same all
alcoholic
the
Trey.
time. Ace switches it up
Trey.
sometimes. I always just look the same, bro. I'm thinking I might get
Ace
a gold
long
chain,
beard, big beard.
silver one.
Yeah, Ace would grow it out a little bit too, and have like a little. I don't even know what you'd call it.
Yeah, I had the over the little TikTok thing. I had the long beard,
Yeah.
short beard.
Like
Yeah,
a
you
I
had
had
to mess
the,
up a little
type
bit,
thing,
yeah.
yeah. French
Mid
crop, that's
fade.
what they call it.
I just switch it up, man. I had like having fun with it.
Trey
Today's
got an
very
F-boy
normal
accent.
day, very regular
I'm
day.
just speaking.
Trey got an
I'm
F
just
accent. That is
speaking.
superb. Trey does look like a young DiCaprio. You seeing that?
Oof. Oh, don't make me get off this show right now and hit the down.
I mean, even this one, I just noticed, like, we've got the little character emojis, right? So under Trey, you got, like, the little logo of Trey, and then you got me. You got
I don't look like nothing like my logo.
So I don't
though.
look anything like that anymore. Man.
Actually, right
Like,
now your thing switched up a bit. Yeah,
My man's got to cook up another one for the new Trey. with
mine
the new
looks
trim.
the same. Just like my beard got a little shorter. That's literally it.
It needs to get rid of my beard, man. I'm telling you. I don't even have a beard. He's made it out like I'm like lumberjack. Like
I'm still team Trey needs to grow out just at least this, have this part
Just a
going,
little
the
bit.
thin mustache. I'm still.
you do
team that.
realize everyone I've spoke to says I could not imagine you with a beard, and I'm like, yeah, I know. I grew it out for COVID. It looked like ass.
Listen, bro. Like,
Listen, I just have that face that needs a clean shave.
that needs to look like a hairless cat.
Actually, I
Yeah.
don't know. I could.
I could see it.
about
I could see
before,
it. Like the way that picture is, the way that picture literally is how I could imagine you. That's what I'm saying. Like exactly.
Yeah,
what
that's
that
a
picture is,
shit
that.
beard.
Your beard connects, doesn't it?
No.
No.
That's
I mean,
true.
like, okay, not here, but like, it's not patchy, right? Or it is.
No, I ain't grown a beard.
You said you grew it in COVID.
A little bit, but like I didn't let it grow out. I
Dude,
grew it
this-
for like a.
I've got like a
line
line under my chin.
I grew it for like
here.
a month, and I was like, nah, this
What?
is ass.
No hair grows out of. I think I got injured there when I was younger or something. I think I had like a ski accident when I was a kid. Because right here,
have no
there's a
hair
small little line
at
where
the
no
bottom?
hair grows at all. I think something happened. It just killed all the follicles. So it's already like it's probably not noticeable
got
if I actually grew it
uppercutted.
out. But I think I got uppercutted or something as a kid.
Yeah,
Because I'm
it's
like
uppercut
right
as a
here's
kid,
cooked.
yeah.
You can't see
Like,
it, so we're
bam.
good. All right, I'm
Dude
gonna
has
start
beard-
the show.
Okay, all right.
Hang on before we start it. Hang on
I
before
was
we
gonna
start it.
talk about a beard for an hour. Okay, let's go. Let's go.
No, you're good.
Jordan F said we've got to stop flaming Trey. He's been the flyest.
Come on,
I mean, seriously.
man is good. Man is good.
Man, he's good. He's good with it. I'm gonna give credit to my boys. You know.
We need a Roxas and Ace meetup, where I'm convinced Ace is secretly
Right.
playing for them without us knowing.
I mean, let's look at a KD.
That's why
and
we
see if it
can't.
makes sense
That's
or
that.
not.
Why do you think we don't? Why do you think we don't do shows during the weekend?
That's true. We only do pre-shows before
Yeah,
the
we
weekend
have to
starts.
get up
dude,
just
it's
before the
pre-show.
Falcons game.
Yeah. Then we do it on a Monday. And
Yeah.
conveniently,
Well,
guess what a
well.
Monday is? The pro players' days off. Not shocked.
Not shocked. No scrims today.
Oh, nothing to say, man. Nothing to say.
All right, I'm about to run Dope Check episode 42. Thanks for being here, chat. If you're listening right now, you've not yet hit the like button. You know what to do. Run the intro.
This show is not pre-recorded, by the way, Catted. He said, "Is this pre-recorded?" No.
No, we're right here to roast you in real time. Get your thoughts in the chat.
Yeah. We're ready, man.
We are ready. Okay, 2, 1, go. All right, guys, and welcome to Dope Check episode number 42. The CDL is back for the new year here in 2025. We've had the first online tournament in a very long period of time. We have a winner. Atlanta FaZe coming from absolutely nowhere, and we have unbelievable amounts of drama on the weekend. Shotzzy crashing out, loads of drama on that. Sib snaking, we're going to get into the reaction there. And also the Los Angeles Thieves, the pre-tournament favourites, bowing out very early on indeed. Scrappy, not a happy man. Nadeshot, the owner, not a happy man either. Drama between the pair of them. And I've got a great pair of gentlemen joining me today, and hundreds currently live in the chat here on YouTube. Gents, how's it going? Trey, I know you're just woken up, but what a weekend. COD is officially back.
Nah, I've been up for a few hours now, Rab. You know, I thought I'd wake up a little bit early, watch a few TikToks, spruce myself up for a good show. I mean, I think whilst we're just getting into the intro, I think the biggest shock of the weekend was how good, well, I say how good, how Rocker managed to get a few wins out of what they did, which is kind of impressive.
Wow, Rocker shout out in the intro. These are scenes. They've not got this in years.
I mean, listen, we talk about every other team, but no one's going to talk about how they just keep reverse sweeping people. Commendable. But listen, I've been great. COD's back. It was nice to see a tournament. I do wish it was double a limb, but you know, we can't pick and choose. You know, we just got to be happy with what we're given, especially with the current standards of the league, and how we all know how it's being run and whatever like that. But other than that, I've been great, Ace. Pleasure to see you as always.
Man, it's great to be back with the boys for another week. So much to cover. Finally, we get some, you know, a good little tournament, not just regular league matches. A lot of drama, a lot of good stuff to cover. You know, I was busy playing on the Falcons over the weekend, me and, you know, swapping in for Roxas when I could. When he got a little tired, I had to sit there and play a little game for him. But beyond that, man, crazy weekend. FaZe looked dominant. Finally, they look back in form. Someone predicted that on this show, Trey, which was fantastic. So, again, the smartest show in all of the Call of Duty land is right here. And, yeah, OpTic, I would say a lot of people would say OpTic got kind of, I wouldn't say embarrassed, but it's considering how much crap Shotzzy has been talking recently. The way that they bowed out is not it. Yeah, man, I'm excited. I'm ready to talk with the boys. Let's get into the topics, and I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go.
Tag Rogue's neck roll is here in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. Let's just dive right in. I wanted to talk about just the state. Okay, I'll move Ace over real quick. Of the tournament itself, because we've not seen this for some time. First take, I want your guys' perspective on, does this tournament count? Is it a chip? Is it a 2K win? Where does it live? Because, you know, to be honest, I don't know my opinion. I'm going to give it to Trey first. As a player, you played in some of the home series tournaments back in MW19. This is clearly a minor tournament. It's single limb. It's online. But at the end of the day, one of the teams won.
Listen, back in MW 2019, it's a little bit different. There was no events whatsoever. All the events were online. It was COVID. But I also didn't like those events as well, purely because only 8 teams went to them too. You know, sometimes, you know, the best teams weren't at some of these home events. So that's why I kind of deem MW 2019 as like chalk that year up pretty much. I didn't like it. Minors, no, they're not chips. They ain't chips. It's just not a league. They're just glorified league matches, really, with like, you know, we ain't playing you. You won't see you again in the tournament, whatever like that. They're not chips. Maybe, you know, all the OpTic fans will say they're not chips unless OpTic win and it's a chip. But other than that, I think it's just a nice change of pace for the players, as well as, you know, the fans, to see league matches that lead up to a little tournament and that lead into a major, which they can kind of, you know, come to grasp about how their team's performing in a tournament setting prior to an actual tournament. So that's what I see it as.
I'm in 100% agreement with Trey. This is not a major. It's It's a 2K, like you said, 2K, little online qualifier matchup, single a limb, right? It doesn't even kind of give it the same grace as a major tournament would. Yeah, anyone considering it otherwise, whether you're an OpTic fan or a FaZe fan or otherwise, is pretty faded in general. Nah, this is just something good for the fans. It's good for the fans, good for the community. It's good that the players are also getting a chance to grab 20,000 if they win. That's cool and all, but anything beyond that, you're
It's good
taking
for
it
the
too far.
players too, because it's a like a league match. You know, it's a league match at the end of the day. Lose or win, it's not the end of the world. You still got a match tomorrow. You know, if you play, it's what it is. Tournament setting, it's all composure. You know, if you win, you win. You go through. If you lose, you're out. You're gone. Everyone looks at you like you're an ass. So that's why I think it's just good all around. But in general, it don't really if it's not going to elevate someone's career, winning a minor, like they ain't going to put that on their CV.
Dude, imagine someone has 5-time champion, they win a minor, they put 6-time champion.
Well, I mean, this is a question that Liveout has to answer how he does this, because the home series from Modern Warfare, they count as chips on the board. So it's still a question. My feeling is that, as you say, because it's within the context of Major 1, it's clearly like not a major. But also the other argument is that, well, this tournament is actually entirely separate from Major 1 because it doesn't count for Major 1 seeding. It's just a tourney thrown in there for 20k and points towards champs, basically what it is. I guess the next question is, should this be what we do every weekend? Because if I had to vote for this, let's say we have 4 weekends of qualifiers for a tournament. That means if you get first round at every time, you play 4 matches, which isn't massively different to what you currently play, like 6 or 7 or whatever. However, if you win, let's say you're FaZe, you're starting in the first round, like we saw this time. They played 4 matches this weekend over 3 days. Pretty good stuff. And like for me, this is how it used to be. It'd be 2Ks every weekend, and then there'd be a tournament. And the seeding would be based on various, pro point standings, kind of based on what had happened in the 2Ks. So it's a pretty similar idea. So my feeling is different to Benjay. Benjay was tweeting here that he didn't really feel like the minor was that much different to the qualifier game weekends. I didn't think it was like completely night and day, but I felt like the pros were trying harder. I felt like there was more pressure on the games. The idea of you being eliminated and placing 12th or 8th in a tournament still feels bad. And, for the players that lost in that position. And there's some money on the line, which is nice, but it doesn't have to be anything crazy. And it's points towards the World Championship. If I had to choose, I would say in a heartbeat, no brainer, we do this every weekend instead of qualifiers.
I'm going to take a slightly different take. I do still think the league matches hold a place of just something consistent that we have to look forward to. Not that they're the best for fans or anyone, but I think just for the league structure, I think maybe having 2 of these, like lessening the amount of weekends of league matches, but having these minors included are like a good little jump to where, a team can jump out of the pack. All of a sudden, FaZe was not winning anything to now they're towards the top of the leaderboards, right? It popped them up that quickly, and they put some money in their pocket. So I like the kind of spontaneous, combustible changes in the bracket that can happen now and in the standings because of tournaments like this being once in a while. Do I think we should have maybe 2 of them per major cycle? Yes. But every weekend I think is a little bit OD because it kind of dampens the meaning of them.
I don't really have a take on it, to be honest with you. I don't mind the way it is. Could it be better? Yeah. But at least we got something different from the last 4 years.
Yeah, I mean, like just looking at this is the schedule for the upcoming weekend of games. Obviously, we'll be back with the pre-show on the Friday to talk about it. And at least this way, you've got guaranteed OpTic playing Thieves on the Sunday. Like that's a guaranteed good matchup in there. But I don't know. It'll be interesting going back to next weekend, seeing the normal games resume, and you finish the day, and it's like, oh, well, the weekend ends, and you've not got a winner. You've just got teams that have done well or badly. Now, I do get the idea of it. It makes the big tournament feel bigger because you've not had that real tournament play. But equally, I'd prefer the idea of doing these like small little online tournaments. You get points for it. And obviously at this point, you'd have to go down to like the 5 points. Maybe winner gets 30, second gets 20, top 4 gets 10, top 8 gets 5, and then top 12 gets 0 points or something like that. Like you could make that work. And maybe it means that the teams that win really accelerate off into the distance, but at least it's something to think about for the overall season. You give more points out for the majors when we get there. And then you can look at the 4 weeks of qualifier tournaments and you can say, all right, FaZe 1-1, OpTic 1-1, Thieves 1-2. but FaZe won the most recent one before the major or whatever. And then this is all the questions, the storylines as they used to be. Were like, well, you know, this team's looking good. They just won. They just beat this team, but it was online. Also, if you do more tournaments, you get more top matchups. Like this event, we didn't have OpTic FaZe, and obviously Ravens are a storyline we'll get into. But we got OpTic. OpTic played Ravens. We had FaZe play Thieves, and if you do a tournament like this every weekend, you're guaranteed at least like 2 to 3 banger games between the top teams every weekend. So, you know, it's a question really. And I know that people were mentioning the standings. They're not actually updated on the Breaking Point website yet, but there wasn't, you know, that much that really changed. Top 4 got 10 points. So Rocker are going to be at 30. OpTic are going to be at 40. Ravens are going to be at 60, top of the league. And FaZe are going to be at 40 as well with their 30 points. So, yeah, Ravens are going to be top of the league by like 20 points here, which is kind of remarkable, actually.
Yeah, it's cool. I like your point, though. I like your point a lot, Rab, that it adds to the viewership angle. That's the thing that's going to drive COD. These weekends of, you know, bottom team matchups for 80% of it, 70% of it is kind of a drag. And I think that does deteriorate fan retention and attention over the course of a major. So again, I'm not so much for league matches coming out, because I think just for the structure of how the league is, you know, points and how we set things up for the champs and everything, we kind of need it to be broken up like that. But a few more of these, 2, 3 of them every major cycle, would definitely be warranted, and I think would definitely benefit the CDL in the long term. Like business wise, player wise, fan wise, everyone would be way more juice if it happened that way.
Also, before, you know, where's Ronnie? You know, we all need to call him dumb for saying Heretics was going to beat FaZe. Like,
yes.
you are dumb. Capital D.
I saw some interesting takes of Ronnie actually this weekend. I'd love to get him on the show again soon.
Listen, I think Ronnie's hit some
them.
CTE along the way since he's been on the show, because my word, are his takes the worst. And I
saw people saying how he was saying how if Kenny doesn't perform, it's time to bring Tyler Fellow in. It's time for OpTic Felony. So,
wow.
you know, time will tell.
He might have to be banned off the show. I ain't gonna lie. He's doing the controversial take route where bringing in the numbers.
I like
my
that.
word are these controversial takes.
I think my point as well is like, okay, you look at the teams that got first rounded: Surge, Falcons, Heretics, Gentlemates, like teams that are pretty bad. And obviously those teams, if we did this every weekend, would be annoyed to be like, we're not playing any games, right? Like we're not getting any match practice. But then the conclusion is to get better, right? Like the better you get, the more practice you get. Right now, the dog shit teams still get to play 7 qualifier games. I don't know that seems fair, because maybe this is the reason why that we haven't done this over the last few years, is because, well, all the teams are paying their money to be in the league, the 25 million, so we need to give them equal time on the broadcast. Don't count anymore. It doesn't work like that anymore. They gave all the money back. So, you know, screw that. The dog shit teams, I don't want to watch you play. You're terrible. Get better and I'll watch you make a run in a tournament. That's my take.
I mean, listen.
Why he laughs after he says his take is amazing. Go ahead, Trey. My bad. Him laughing after his comedy.
I do agree with you. Like these minors suck for the teams that are ass.
Respectfully.
But listen, it's no different if they go to the major and then they're ass. Because you're going to be out on the Thursday or the Friday, whenever, you know. And my word, do LAG look dog shit.
I don't have any interest watching these terrible teams. Like, get me to a proper game where there's something interesting, right? Like, to be fair to Rocco, we'll give him their props.
I thought LAG would be a decent. I mean, I didn't have him top 4. I don't know where I put him. I think it was like 7th or something like that. But my word, are they fucking ass?
The LAG okay, I mean, we're getting a little ahead of ourselves, but the LAG chokeage the last few weeks is needs to be studied.
They're 0-6. They're ass.
They're horrendous, but the way they choke maps and matches is just like, it's a thing of beauty. It's a thing of like,
it is.
Are you doing it on purpose at this point?
That's what I'm saying. That's the epitome of like where they're at, though. Remember this conversation we had about the Surge team last year with Lamar and or Rocco. I can't remember which one it was, but
Rocker.
Yeah. And they had that crazy choke, and everyone's like, yeah, but if they won that, you know. But they didn't. They're ass. And now these guys, 0-6.
Ass.
They're ass.
Yeah, they're definitely like for sure, considering how many times this has happened to them now, they're definitely losing faith, losing full, and like there's definitely probably there's some cracks in that camp for sure at this point. Like people are sitting next to each other like, man, you
I
suck,
think
you know? Like
it
has to be like that at this point.
There genuinely might be a roster change before Major One.
Yeah, I can
That's
see
why I
that.
like the tournaments, man. Because if you bomb out, then you're like, we're dog shit.
I can see if they have a bad Major One, which I do predict they will, because I think their team is like, I think their team morale's down. I think everything's down. I think we might see a Priester droppage on the horizon.
I saw Cobra was doing
Illy
a tweet,
Priesta?
right?
Oh, Cobra Frem or Illy?
Some
I mean,
options.
I would go with the proven world champ vet over Tom's friend. So that's kind of
Let's
where I
not
would go.
disrespect Cobra like that. Come on.
You like that one?
Let's not disrespect Cobra like that.
No,
Come
he's good and all, but like I don't think. Are we really?
no,
okay, are we
listen,
gonna disrespect Illy that bad to compare him to Cobra?
I'm
Bro?
not
Come on now.
I'm not disrespecting Illy. The only thing about Illy is he hasn't played a full season since God knows how long. Whereas Cobra hasn't even been in the league. And we're missing goddamn new talent. Bring it into the league. We're losing out talent left, right, rhubarb.
I get that, but like, at what cost? You know,
we sit here on the show and say like, yo, we ain't got no new talent coming through. Yeah, that's because no one's picking them up because they're there to be picked up, but we ain't picking them up. We're just recycling. Now, Illy, I would love to see back in the league because essentially that's like a new player anyway, because we haven't seen him in ages.
Yeah.
So I'm all right with both, and I think both will be in the league, but you know, I think it's time for a European to come up. And why is it always French people? Where's these good French players come from? They're everywhere.
They're everywhere. Yeah, exactly.
Weren't like this back in the day.
No, I know. Back in my day, we were running these kids.
Oh, running the Spanish, running the French. Ah, it's crazy.
Shout out Viper for the 5, by the way. Appreciate you. Yeah, we're going to talk about gorillas. I was spent a couple of minutes there trying to find the clip on the map 5 where Kismet just flew out the top window on Hacienda for no reason at all. I was like, oh, I'm back. I'm so back this weekend. But yeah, give me a few minutes on that one. And yeah, the other thing I guess to say as we really dive into some of the meat and potatoes of this before we get to the actual matches is how we got to this point from like a drama point of view, because we've got to address everything that's happened in the last week or so, because it's been rather a lot, mainly on the scrim related content. So look, we talked about this on the pre-show on the Friday. I just wanted to run it through for those of you guys who have not been keeping up with COD over the last week or so. Shotzzy wanted to turn the streams on for the scrims. That was going to be the plan. Most teams are down for it. Thieves were not down for it. Scrappy was talking about that OpTic are just doing it to make money. Shotzzy came out with his take that it's not about that. Like, I'm here to try and help out the scene. Obviously, all these other guys, they're tweeting, but they got no bread, like get a house type thing. That's what he was yapping about. And okay, fair enough. Scrappy got into a lot of beef about this because Scrap was kind of refusing to do it, but then he came out in Shotzi's stream and said, hey, no, we are down to stream the practice as long as you guys don't have the minimap on. But then Sender had DM'd OpTic to say, no, we're not down for it no matter what. So there was some degree of miscommunication going on. Although now it is believed that Thieves will be happy to have their practice streamed against OpTic, assuming the minimap is covered. I think what I'm happy about with this weekend is OpTic played pretty well. Not great, not as well as they did in scrims, it seems. And obviously FaZe's scrim results are radically different. But FaZe, all of their practice was streamed. Like, pretty much anyway. Not maybe against the Proteins, but they were playing Omip, they were playing, like, Exceeds roster, SGP, a number of Challenger teams. And almost every day, we had a scrim result from FaZe. And usually it wasn't looking especially good. But FaZe still win the tournament. And if you're Thieves, if you're, Scrappy or whoever looking at that, the only conclusion realistically is that it doesn't bloody matter.
It never has mattered. I've been saying this.
Yeah,
Point.
At the end of the day, it really doesn't matter. And again, Trey said it last week where, you have the VOD of everyone. If you're a team and you're playing a different team, you have the minimap, you have the VODs. You can you know, I don't know. People are putting a lot of weight on this when it really shouldn't be. It's not the old days where like, oh, there's no coach, there's no one sitting in your scrims like tracking everything, recording it. It's not Black Ops, Black Ops 3, Black Ops 2 days where you have to watch a stream and try to lock in to figure out everything. We're not in that world anymore. So I think players are over analyzing the situation. They got to do what's best for the scene, keep it alive, and start streaming their scrims and having fun with it, becoming entertainers, get their money up while also just keeping fans engaged throughout the year. That's been a big problem with COD. I mean, generally, our esport, just one of the things is like, you get these like week or 2 weeks where pros are off and they're streaming every day content, boom, boom, boom. And then it's weeks on end of no content at all. So not only does it like, I feel like ruin the fan experience a little bit, but also like hurts the potential of some of these good content creators that we have, or like personalities that we have in the scene, to really be out there and really create a brand, and by them creating a brand, helping out Call of Duty itself. So I don't know, it's like a vicious cycle. We need to start allowing teams to just start streaming. It's going to help out everybody and everything.
I mean, I understand why that people think it, but end of the day, like I said last week, we're playing such a watered down esport into terms of where it's like pure. It is brain rot. It's just spawn up, shoot, die, spawn up, shoot, die. There is strats towards it, but nothing crazy. It's 6 months into the game, everyone knows what anyone's doing on the map. Everyone takes the same rotation routes. The only things that can change is like nade spots and stuff like that, but nothing crazy. Now S&D, completely different. I agree, completely different. But I don't think anyone wants to stream S&D scrims. Like, that would just be pointless. Hardpoint control, even control, for example. Like, that's glorified TDM with domination put in it. It's nothing crazy.
Yeah, control. I would want to say control is probably less likely. It's probably the least worrisome game mode to stream your scrims. But overall, yeah, S&D, yeah, cover that one up. Turn off your comms if you really want to, black that screen out just for your S&D maps. I get it, but otherwise, yeah, give the fans what they want, man. Give the fans what they want. Make a couple extra thousand a month and start pushing it out, the content, man.
So yeah, then Shotzzy was crashing out. I mean, this is after they beat the Falcons. We'll get into that, of course. He had a few words to say on the broadcast about some of the other teams, roasting them. They're losing breakoffs. They were just playing for kills. I thought this one was pretty sensational. Players taking pay cuts every year, wonder why. Effing clowns. Most of your guys don't do shit besides collect a check. Clown emoji, clown emoji. Like, the storylines write themselves, to be honest here. I love a good clown emoji. This might be my favorite emoji in the entire book, when I can put it in a video title or a thumbnail. And Shotzzy's doing my hard work for me. Joseph with the 2. Surge should have got Cobra Lins in the off-season. Do not necessarily disagree with that. I think, yeah, good point on Surge, actually, especially because they were, potentially French-speaking with Rambo over there as well. To be honest, I thought Cobra was maybe going to go to Rocco if Lins was to stay, but that never happened. So there was another option which they decided not to go to. We'll get to those teams in a second because, yeah, I might have to cook Rambo Ray in a few minutes' time. In fact, I think I will be cooking Rambo Ray in a few minutes' time. So yeah, Shotzzy was crashing out. We'll get back to more of this in a second because we talked about it a bit on Friday. I just was Shotzzy always like this, or has he just lost the plot?
I think he's just had enough. I think he's just had enough. Considering that Shotzzy's one of the only pros that puts a lot of thought into content and streams every single night, YouTube videos, all that kind of stuff. And, not many other people do. And that's not his fault. He's just telling everyone to be smarter. What are you guys doing? Your job is to play COD. Go stream, go play some ranked play some Money 8s, play this, play that. Like, he is right. So, some people just are sitting there collecting a check. And I'm not saying everyone needs to stream, but get yourself in some goddamn Money 8s. Get yourself in some goddamn whatever. He's asking you to be better. Now, do I think he's crashing out a little bit? Yeah. He might be crashing out a bit too much. But at least he's standing on business.
Is this real?
Right, what am I... What am I reading right now? What is this?
Is this real or is this like
might be
a fake screenshot?
This might be a bigger crash out than this might be a bigger crash out than Shotzzy's. We got a live update mid-show for you all, ladies and gentlemen. We got Illy. We just talked about him joining none other than maybe a team needs him out there, gentle mates or something. But no, this is Illy's actual account. Here he is, 145k. Twitch.tv/Illy. We can see if he's live maybe right about now. Okay, not live yet, but here we go. This is Illy's account. No questions about it. 2020 World Champ. Yoda King. Yoda. Change my alias of Illy to Yoda.
He could be hacked.
You think someone's hacking for this?
Why would he change his name from Illy to Yoda?
I can't tell you.
I don't know, but
Why would someone
That is
hack
like-
him to
Yo,
drop
yo,
this?
chat, W or L on the Yoda change? Is Yoda a good content? First off?
What do you mean
What's
W or L?
W or L?
It's an L. What?
Okay, I'm just asking. What do we think about the actual Yoda as a COD, like a COD moniker, a gamer tag?
I actually
Secondly,
want a poll on this because I want to know what the percentages would be.
yeah. So I'm curious. I'm actually like, let me cook, man. Damn. But no, he changed my alias from Illy to Yoda.
Yeah, it's a real tweet. Oh, we get W's at Elton chat here. Oh, you know what? There's
I'm on his
some
page,
W's.
bro.
Actually, some W's.
Um,
Get a poll going in a second. I think Illy kind of goes hard. If he was, but Yoda also, I guess, goes hard. I just don't like his at. If it was like hella clean, Yoda King double underscore. Ugh, I don't like that.
this is like, but this is
Icky.
kind of like, this is like LeBron being like, call me Dwayne now. It doesn't make much sense. Like, it's like you're a world champ, bro. You're like a legendary player with that name.
People just
Yeah,
gonna
he
call
might be
him
hacked.
Illy still, bro.
Yeah, maybe he's hacked. Yeah, maybe someone got his account because this is like just so random and weird. And
OpTic Yoda would be. Bro, imagine they announce. Oh my god, that'd be. I don't know. I ain't convinced about this one. That's just my take. That's the thing. Illy's iconic.
I
Illy
hope
has
he's
been
hacked.
around for 10 years. Bro.
I mean that in a nice way, by the way. I'm not saying I hope he's hacked.
Yeah,
I'm just-
yeah,
I
exactly.
hope
Yeah. I hope this ain't real. Just because it's like, okay, if you've been a player for maybe a couple of years and you're trying to change your name, okay, I get it. But Illy's been an icon in the COD scene for like 10 years. Like 5 years before he was old enough to be a pro, people were talking about Illy. So, at least 2016, Illy was like a name that was feared in the circles in COD. And now he's won a world championship with that name. Like, this isn't when Kenny changed his name to Quavo or when Crimsix changed his name to C6. Like,
Yeah,
everyone
but it still had like
called him-
resemblance. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone,
yeah.
everyone knew Quavo was Kenny, and everyone knew C6 was Crim6.
Exactly, yeah. And people still called him Crim. It's like, okay, Scrappy was initially Scrappy, but he's trying to do Scrap. But Yoda's just so different that I don't know if I can back it, right? Like, there's a player in Valorant who used to be known as Baby J, bit of a controversial player. He played for 100 Thieves for about 3 weeks before they dropped him. And he's been around a little bit. He's now like a tier 2 player, kind of a controversial figure. But he changed his name to Inspire. So he got rid of Baby J, became Inspire, middle of last year, probably easily 6 months ago. Realistically, everyone still calls him Baby J. Like, I still call him Baby J. It hasn't really caught on, his new name, even though he's been going by it for some time.
Like, it's not like he's Jimbo and got to change his name.
yeah. It's not like his reputation is complete. Like, he's gone out the league and stuff. He's trying to like finesse his way. Like,
It's Illy.
He's still Illy. Yeah, Illy's a dog in this thing. He's a champ, man. He's got that name has weight. So it's very interesting. To me that
Illy got aura.
He's
Illy
100%.
has got aura.
100,000%. Very interesting. It's a developing story. We're figuring it out. We'll report back to you guys once we have more information. Back to you guys on Dope Check. Thank you guys for tuning in. I don't know.
Wait,
what
did
this is about.
Deadzone actually go back to Penguin? I didn't know that was true. Siphons. That's
Maybe he wants to
interesting.
start fresh with a controversy his name had, but like, it's Illy.
People still gotta call
It's
it
not
Illy,
like-
though. Like, I'm not.
It's not like he's some schmuck off the street that, like, that no one knows, it's Illy.
Yo,
Regardless.
Yoda. Oh, brilliant. That is pretty good.
That's hilarious.
Good work.
Listen, I hope he's hacked just for the pure fact of that name's ass.
What a breaking story mid show. This is the most random thing I've ever. This is like the most unexpected thing
Who
I've
would
ever seen.
ever have predicted this to drop mid-show? The Illy rebrand. I would never have seen this one coming.
Tack Rab to T Rabbit. That's kind of. I mean, it's
Everyone's already know.
different than that though. That's Kenny to Quavo. That's Crim6 to C6. Tack Rab to T Rabbit. This is Tack Rab to Black Jesus. That's what this is. It's so different.
We don't care about the name change. You suck, says video watcher.
Come on.
No, I mean, Illy's like on the board. Like, I kind of get people that are saying he's putting the old behind him. He's plowing a new path and whatever. But yeah,
Plowing a new path.
I don't know why.
I never heard anyone say that before.
Yeah, that phrase one just sounded funny, and two, I don't know. Yeah, that just sounded. Yeah, it just sounded funny.
You like that one? I thought it was
Someone
good.
already took his at. Someone said too. Someone already took his OG at.
Oh really? Oh no, he can't even go back. They're trying to sell it back to him for like.
To be fair, he could have took
100K.
his OG out.
Yeah, if he's smart with it, it's possible.
Oh, that's true. That's true. That's true.
He could have been like, nah, I'm gonna troll some motherfuckers. Like that's how bored Illy is sometimes.
Base the stock spin, Black Rab, and Trey 7 from now on. Or Dre 7.
Dre 7.
Dre 7. There you go. We're on point right now. Well, we'll keep you guys updated, I guess, and I'll DM Illy and see what's going on, but I'm not too sure what to say about this. We could.
Yeah, we got distracted a little bit. Joseph Hellman dropped us a 2-bomb a while ago. Would pros care if it was a YouTube VOD instead of live? I think he's talking about scrims, is he? Because we were talking about that at the time. So maybe he's kind of saying if people uploaded the scrims as a VOD. Don't know. I think the same situation applies, to be honest. But appreciate you for the two.
But this is the thing, though. It doesn't change anything.
Yeah,
The pro players have their coach and codcaster the whole time, and they can see everything. So it purely has to be like social aspect. Like you wouldn't want to stream your team getting absolutely waxed. Because on strat wise, it makes no sense because every team has everything on anyone anyway.
Now that I've heard this directly from some pros before too, where they say they don't want their teammates to think they have to entertain. 1, 2, play different because they're on stream, or 3, again, it's just not replicating a match type of setup. Because like if you're even in online league matches, people aren't watching you directly like that. You're not on camera like that, so it's a little different. But I mean, Trey, what do you think about that take? That people play different when they're streaming? Is it valid?
You're a moron.
Yeah.
What? Now, if you're streaming, yeah, I kind of get it. Like, I think that's just natural, though. Now, if it's affecting scrims, obviously turn the stream off. But the opposite team should not be playing any different.
No, not the opposite team. Their team. Because again, we're saying like.
Yeah, I mean,
right?
but like, that's on their own team. That's on them as players. Like, if you're gonna stream your scrims just purely based for money and like no entertaining, you whack OBS live, you chuck the OBS chat across the fucking way, and you're done and dusted. Just scrim like usual. Although I did hear, come off topic real quick though. Dashy gassed up my gamer tag, but he kind of roasted me too.
He did actually say that, yeah. I watched the clip and I saw him gas up the gamer tag.
He kind of roasted me as well.
And then he said you weren't even that good. I'm like, wait, put some respect. That's what I
He
thought
didn't say
anyway.
that.
No, what did he say? That's what I saw.
He just said he said if I won more tournaments.
Oh, that's it. It would have been
Yeah,
more.
Rap put his own narrative on it. You just rap bastard.
He said if I won more tournaments, the name would have been like, undeniably like one of the best.
Yeah. I ain't wrong.
Spreading straight misinformation right there.
Yeah, he said 0 with the 0 at the end goes hard. That's tough. And he said if he won more events.
No, we cut that
bro.
bit out of the clip. I've gone green lighting in there, by the way, out of respect for Yoda.
Luke says I asked this. He could be one personing for
Luke
sure. But I
Skywalker?
asked Alec on stream, and he said Illy is not hacked.
Maybe on shrooms, but not hacked. Okay, well. Yeah, Illy's off the Addy, and Yoda is on the... I'm not going to say it, we might get demonetized, Trey, if you know how to say it.
DMT.
Yeah, well...
That guy's doing good things, man. He's doing good things. Whatever.
Whatever, you know what? We'll come back to him when Yoda is back in green. Green wall, baby.
Yeah.
Maybe this is the hint. This is the hint that we're all missing out on. We can't
Wait,
call
can I
him Killy
big
anymore
brain? Can I
either.
super big brain? Like Reddit big brain right now?
Hit me.
What if he has to go? He's about to get picked up by a team, but they told him, they said, your old name when we search you up comes up to some of this controversial stuff. Maybe you got to switch your name up because then we'll pick you up because then it's a clean slate. It's like a new guy, new introduction, maybe to a French nation and a new viewership. We need to introduce you as this new guy, new name, like you're fresh to the scene.
No way! Look at this from Runeki on the stream with the 5-bomb. Illy said on stream he was always planning to rebrand because the Surge situation last year messed up his brand. Well. There we go.
Right.
There we go. Can you believe it? He's had this cooking.
And
for
you
some
chose
time.
Yoda.
He had a year to think about this. And he's
You had
gone
a
with
year.
Yoda.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Just to sit there and think about a name. And you come up with Yoda King.
He was sitting there.
Yoda King, right? It was just Yoda, but
Sitting there watching
King
Star
is
Wars.
So bad.
You know, go hard. Yoda, man.
Full set of scrims done and dusted. Single call with Alec. Yo, Alec. I'm thinking something, man. I need to
Hey, bro.
I gotta get rid of the name Illy, man. They don't like me no more. I gotta change. Yoda King.
I hope he goes by.
And then Alex sat there like,
that's hard,
that's
bro.
fucking sick. That's sick. That's sick.
No, I hope he goes by not just Yoda. I hope he goes by Yoda King. We have to see Yoda King on a CDL broadcast. I want the whole thing. I don't just want Yoda.
If he
I need him back in the league
if
now.
he changed his name to Pope, that would have
Yeah,
been
that would
hard.
have been so hard.
Oh
He
my
could have
That
done
would've
that
been
as
hard.
well.
Surge Pope, Rocker Pope, OpTic
Oh,
Pope.
that's actually. Wait, somebody said, hey, you got to DM him. Trey,
Yeah,
you got to let him know. DM him real quick and let him know. Be like, quick rebrand. Double down on your rebrand here.
No, you're actually
Sounds like
right,
he's set
though.
on
Pope would be
Yoda
good.
King.
Yoda King.
Hope would go kind of crazy.
Yo,
No,
This
me
is
and
my
the
thing
kid,
though.
yeah.
A rebrand this is my thing though. A rebrand makes no sense because he's already a huge name in COD.
It don't really work. You know?
Ace, you're like your Reddit big brain is still gonna fuck up because someone's gonna go, Illy, now known as Yoda King.
Yeah, exactly. I know.
I'm just gonna change the article.
People are gonna say that for months, though, and I'm gonna be the same thing in my videos. It's like Yoda used to be Illy, you know. It's gonna be like this for years.
Big news, Illy. I mean Yoda King.
On a more semi-serious note, I feel like it's definitely something with him that you could tell it affected him a lot to the point where he's overthinking it to this degree where he feels like his brand's been affected. So I feel like that's a little bit like, you know, that's a little sad though. That's a little, I'm not gonna let Debbie down it, but like it's a little sad that he thinks his brand is that messed up that he felt like for a year now he's been needed to rebrand this entire thing.
I mean, who's that a
That's kinda
picture
like-
of? That's Illy, bro.
Yoda
Shut
King.
it. Shut it, Illy, man. Like, we're gonna change your profile picture or something. We got black on the header. It's still the same picture he used to have as his.
He definitely
as his
got
thing.
baked and watched Star Wars and was like, yeah, I'm like
Yeah.
Yoda, man.
Apparently he was saying it on stream last night. I'm playing that challenge against Shotzzy and those guys.
Wait, what was he saying?
When he was saying like I might be Yoda, man, or something like this, and then he
Oh
thought
my
about
God.
it overnight and was like, he woke up this morning after sleep on it.
He
But
sat
yeah,
there
this
and he
goes hard.
could not sleep. He was staring at the ceiling. He was like, my true calling there, Yoda King.
We have
Hey
lost
man,
the
he's
plot.
getting. It's also,
Someone put in the chat, overchow, you must. Oh, God.
that's pretty good. Hey, Roger, that's a
No,
W for you.
it's a
man.
W. There's gonna be some good memes coming out of this.
Zero needs no rebrand. Hey, I didn't rebrand. I just, I'm still me. You guys know it's me. I just didn't announce anything, You guys still know it's me? I just can't go around the streets being called Zero. It's like a gamer name, you know? No one ever called me Zero. It's like when people have cool names. You know, we never called Illy Inder. I mean, Ant did, but we always called him Illy. You know? We don't call... everyone has cool nicknames. Sometimes their nicknames... Sometimes their gamer names flow well as a nickname for them. Zero just didn't fly. I don't call Rab fucking... You know, Rab's Rab to me. You don't call him Aaron.
Yeah, I don't.
Ace,
Called,
Ace is Ace.
yeah, yeah.
Imagine these two called me Zero. Oh my days, I'd lose it.
There's another good point for the chat though, right? So, oh my god, here we go. Hook, Skywalker, Yoda, Bruce, Shotzzy's formerly Avengers. No, but okay, Yoda, that's got to be like trademarked, right? Like if I'm Disney or whoever owns Star Wars now, if I'm seeing a broadcast with Yoda on, I'm thinking I need some money from that. So I'm thinking it's got to be Yoda King. It's the only option.
So you're saying I can't be FaZe Batman?
I don't think you can be FaZe Batman. I don't think that's gonna fly. I'm not letting you.
You'd have to be like FaZe Matman or something.
FaZe Matman?
Yeah.
But Yoda
You'd have to
King
change
would work.
something.
Yeah, I feel like I feel like Yoda might actually conflict on like a proper CDL broadcast or like at an
Ooh.
actual event. I feel like it would. It may conflict actually though.
Snoopy exists. Interesting take.
FaZe Yoda might be like.
Snoopy. No, Snoopy doesn't. That doesn't fall under. I believe it doesn't fall under copyright anymore because it's been like 100
It's
years.
been
or something
so
since they
old.
started.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, it's very very old now. I think you
After
have
like
100 years. Right.
Yeah, that is true.
FaZe Batman, Fat Man, Ace the Fat Man.
But like it's like the fans and that. They don't call him Brandon. They call him Bruce or Dashy.
Yeah, no one really calls him Brandon. Like unless you really like even people in real life, I still call him like when I would see him, I would still say Bruce. So
I'm thinking about my old teammates.
now too.
Afro, we kind of called Afro or Marcus, but Afro is like, you know. Gizmo, call him J Giz,
J Giz.
and then Nasty. Well, that's just Byron. I ain't calling him Nasty.
hey, Nasty,
What's
come
up,
over here, Nasty. What do you want to
Nasty.
eat, Nasty?
Yo, Nasty, how'd you sleep last night, twin?
Hey, yo, I was at my spot. Who was over? My boy, Nasty was over at the spot yesterday. He was
It was
Yeah,
last
Nasty
night.
doesn't work
Just me and my boy Gizmo. You know, we were chopping shit up. Me, Jay, Giz, Nasty, and Afro.
that sounds good until you say Nasty. I feel like Nasty's the one that sounds interesting. If you say
That's what
it
I'm saying. Like
individually.
some people's names just work.
Yeah. I think this stream's off the rails. It has gone off the rails. All right, let's lock in.
Let's lock in and talk about some CDO matches, ladies and gentlemen, because we've got a tournament
This was just too
to
entertaining.
cover,
so
and Yoda was not playing in it, but this is a good little sidetrack that we had. Let's go through the games. I want to start with the LA Gorillas mate versus Cloud9 New York, because I did manage to, shout out Simeon, finding up the picture of the final map. Wait, am I tripping? Why does this map not want to load? I swear we already played this game. Oh no, maybe this is the upcoming game. Completed games. Here we go. This is what I'm talking about. Because they didn't play Cloud9, did they? This is the series they played. And this is pretty shocking. I think this is the clip I wanted to share for you boys as well. Here we go. The final moments of Gorillas getting reverse swept by the Minnesota Rocker. Here you go, Kismet. Gets info on Nero. Sees him again. Throws the nade. And out he goes. And he's down. It was worth a try. Gents, what's wrong with this team? Is it time to blow it up?
Well, that play was fucking ass. Just respectfully. You know, you're by yourself. You've got info. You're in one of the, best places to be on the map, and you've jumped out like that.
It's so
If this is
obvious
how
there's a
we're
guy
gonna play-
behind you as well. Like, there's obviously
If
going to
this
be a guy
listen,
behind you there.
If this is how we're gonna play, no wonder we're 0-6. There's a big issue with this team. It ain't gonna work. The way they lose is just hilarious. Like you said earlier, Ace. Like they've got. It looks like they have no composure. And on the standings on the Breaking Point website, if you were to tell me that these were going to be 0-6 alongside the Falcons, I would have told you are a moron. But here we are. And no matter the more you watch this play, the more you know how bad it is.
I did enjoy
What
watching
the
that.
hell am I watching?
It's very
New
entertaining.
segment
that
idea.
one.
Worst play of the week. Fernando, we'll consider it. That's a good idea.
That might be
Yeah,
worst play of the year.
I like that.
That's pretty down there. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just I don't know.
I'll play it
I'm
again
gonna
once
just give a
more.
little bit of grace then cook, but like maybe it's early Hacienda. Maybe they didn't get enough reps in, so he just doesn't really think
Oh,
about
fuck,
the
we're playing
guy.
that match. It's Black Ops 4.
I know.
What do you mean?
Listen, I know. Maybe he was honestly kid was on a pretty good team at it too. So
Played that map 6 years ago and no one done that.
maybe he didn't realize that someone's in the back and he just hasn't played it enough. I don't know. But that is one of the roguest chows for no reason I have ever seen. And
No slaying power. I do agree with that, but listen, I think I think a big issue with this team right now is Priest just ain't playing like we know Priest can play. I don't know if it's lack of confidence or the team or just him in general. But
damn.
My
My bad.
I mean, I'm just being real, man. It was the same last. It was the same last year too. It wasn't looking great. Yeah, I don't know, which is a shame to see.
Yeah, he's taking
Damn,
some serious L's. This is a pretty rough series again, little .72 action. And the issue is, like, game one, Priester didn't have a great map, but he literally had a .5, but they won it, right? So you're like, oh, they won, but it's not like they won by a lot. They went up big in the middle of the game. Rocker brought it back. They nearly brought it back for a win, but in the end, Genomates held on. Game two, they went up 2-0. Then they got slammed on the protocol. Big map from Estriel and Geo. Game four, they had to hit a replay on. Rocker still won it. And then the Hacienda, they just lost composure. So, yeah, just super rough. Like, I think you see it coming sometimes. You see a team, and they're like, oh, we're 0-4, but we're looking better. We're grinding hard. We're putting in the work for the fans. I never really buy it. Like, I don't like words. I like action. Do you know what I mean? And I ain't seeing much action apart from getting gunned.
No, this team is broken. I think their spirits are internally broken after you lose this many game fives. I don't know how you recompose yourself. I know it's early on. We're still in the major one cycle. But when you have a teammate that's clearly costing you, plus you have this many heartbreaking losses, I don't think you can recover. I think it's one of those times where, again, like we said earlier, it's time to make a change. And you got to figure out basically who is on the market and what change you're going to make at this point.
Yeah, so a couple of options. We talked about it briefly earlier on the show. I did see this, like Linz did put out a tweet and he said, sorry for the defeat. I promise we won't do it again. I won't disappoint you guys. Thanks for the support and the criticism. It's important for us. So he doesn't say exactly we're keeping the same
he's
roster.
playing on the French fans. He's playing on the French fans. He's got it locked in. That's some good interactions right there.
Yeah, that is some good interactions. He got, well, I mean, how many likes on this one? 6,000 likes, odds. 5.6 thousand likes.
That's some good intro. He weren't tweeting that last year on Rock on on the team he was on. Let me tell you that.
Yeah,
You
no
know,
doubt, no doubt.
Yeah,
But the
he's
truth
playing on
is,
it.
like, they are lost without Hydra. Like, these guys are washed up, and they've not got Hydra to drop 35 kills anymore. A couple years ago, feels like a long time ago.
Well, I knew Linz was locked in on that tweet when there were commas in that thing. There were commas throughout that thing. It was written out perfectly. I'd swear he read it through ChatGPT at some point because it's written out and written out so nicely. But yeah, no, this team is I feel like if I'm any of these guys, again, I'm talking to management, and I feel like Tom is probably the clearest one to talk to him and be like, yo, we need to figure this out and make some swaps, because this is the most underwhelming team of the year already, for sure. Like we had our doubts just because it's not the right formula, but in terms of the most underwhelming, they're taking the cake by far.
Yeah, and then you've also got OpTic roasted these guys, saying that they don't play hardpoint the right way because, you know, Kenny's in game chat, typing in the chat while they're playing scrim, saying go to the hill, and then they play actual hardpoint, they lose to Rocker. And look, to be fair, Rocker made it to top 4 here. They even look pretty decent against FaZe. We'll obviously talk about their resilience and stuff in a second, but like the results still speak for themselves, and it's the manner of the defeats, I think, that are especially painful here for Gorillas, because look, Priester can have a bad couple of maps, map 1, map 2, but if you still win the maps in the series, it is what it is. It's fine. It's like in the same way that I've been kind of critical of Paul X on Rocker, but I will say, like, Paul X has, like, his plays are impactful generally on Rocker from what I see. Even if his numbers put him in a position where if they were to have to make a change, that might be the player they look for. In this case, like, not only is Priester dropping bad numbers, but also it's not like he's doing the dirty work or whatever. Like, sometimes those get clouded over when you got a player carrying the team. But Skies has not been that impactful. Kismet's not been that impactful. Lindsay's not Hydra. So, you know, blow it up.
Nah, this poll we have going on, like, what should they do? Should they drop the whole team? I feel like really you can't drop the whole team. You got to just drop one guy, feel it out, because you really don't know your potential, your ceiling yet. Anything past that, I think, is kind of overkill, because there's clearly one player that's burdening you down a bit. So anything more than that, I think, is too much right now, especially for just the first major too.
I also want to say, like, there's got to be some discussion going to the setup of the team, because, okay, OpTic had an interesting weekend. They didn't have a phenomenal weekend. They didn't win the tournament, but they have been critical of the play style of the core of this team now for some time. Last year was the same story. Okay, they didn't have Priester last year, and it was Hydra there instead, and obviously they had Civ on the subliners. But this Kismet Sky situation, OpTic was saying the same thing last year, that in scrims they felt like they were not getting real practice because of the way this team was approaching hardpoint. We're still seeing their hardpoint is not very good. Sure, they're taking it to 5, but it's not like their hardpoint's great. OpTic again are being very critical of them in their practice, saying that they're not playing real COD. Like, I think a lot of Shotzzy's tweets have been pointing at this team for some time. And then it's the same coach, right? Dareel's over there again, and obviously Marky B is also there, who was a player at a higher level than Dareel was. So, you know, you'd think maybe, okay, Marky B is working on the gameplay stuff a bit more, Dareel's working more on the mental side. But whatever it is, their approach to the game fundamentally does not seem to align with what you need to do here in Black Ops 6. Regardless if you had Hydra magically back on this team, they're still going to be pretty bad.
Nah, if you had Hydra on this team, they'd be fine. they would.
I don't think they would, man.
And to be clear, I mean Hydra instead of Priesta still. I don't mean instead of
Instead of Priesta, okay.
Yeah. I'm still saying it instead of Priesta. Like you'd have to make some swaps, because unfortunately, Priesta, I've defended him last year, right? I don't want anyone to think that I'm a Priesta hater. I was the only Priesta goddamn fan last year when it came down to it. But how it's looking now, there's kind of no grace I can give him at this point. So yeah, it's you could swap in anyone on this team, any professional player, for Priesta, and they would look like a better team. So you could throw anyone in. I don't care who it is. Name anyone you could think of. You could throw half these coaches in, and they would look better.
No, because Kismet's still making that play game 5, and
no, that one definitely hurt.
And this isn't the first time we've seen a Kismet crazy game 5 play. You remember that one last year on Invasion? Not Invasion. What map was it? Karachi.
Oh.
Where he was at top of the stairs, and you know someone's. On
Oh,
top
of course, yeah, the Shotzzy play.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was notable.
There are times though when like you have to live and die by Kismet though. Like that play, if it works, like imagine that guy's on the back where he was. If it works, he wins you the round. It's a crappy play. How he did it, how he approached is terrible. But that guy's on the back, he does get that kill, and like his rogueness there actually does win you the round. So
I mean, it annoys me the ways that he plays this, though, because like
listen,
he can check left. Like he actually has an angle to make this work.
Listen,
like,
we can play Captain Hindsight here, but he's on their side. He's on their side of the map in one of the greatest spots to be in a Hacienda S&D. He can literally call out if anyone is hitting that side right now. He can sit up there and wait for a stray. He can let them go make plays on the bomb, and he hit a late pinch. But he does that. I don't think there's hindsight to this play other than that it was a terrible ass play, and he knows it.
Yeah, I don't think I can really say much else. Like there is, okay, he obviously sees Nero, thinks he can get the blood here, but they've got loads of map control. He can tell the team just to go A pretty much. Obviously, you don't know where the fourth guy is necessarily, but they're turning over towards B. Number one is just jiggling back and forth here on the angles. So
you got to think if he sits here, Yeah, and he doesn't see this guy. He could say, yo, they're all hitting middle. Guess what he can do? He can go check middle. Yo, they're all hitting their side. Get a few bullets down. Bow, 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 bow. Listen, I'm sorry. There's no one going to outdo me in this situation right now.
Yeah, we can move
I
on
played
from
this
that
back
one.
in 2019, and it would be the exact same play now.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, he is in the power spot. Again, I'm only giving a minor amount of grades to it. It's the 90% ass play, the 10% randomness. Again, all I'm saying, Kiz's playstyle sometimes is rogue, but when it pans out, it pays off greatly. We've seen it multiple times in the last 2 titles. That's more what I'm trying to put forward rather than this exact play. Whereas Priest is just dropping the ball map after map, which is the only weird thing about him is that he had a 1.0, the 1.03 against OpTic, which was kind of weird. He had his best series against one of the more difficult teams, which is very confusing to me. That's why Priest is a little bit of like a confusing player, because he has like a good series against one of the harder teams to do so. Why can't it be consistent? I don't know. We can move on from that, but just like it's very confusing to me sometimes with Priest.
All right, baby. Vegas Falcons.
That's just
Xnid.
We got to talk about this map.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
They started up
that's
102 to 8. At this point where they were up 102 to 8, did you think they were going to win the map? Vote in chat right now, because I know my answer.
Listen, 52 for the dub. Like,
when they were up 164 to 102, did I think they were going to win the map? No. And then, OpTic overtook them at the death. To be fair, like, to Xnid, I think he also had some decent hill time here, but I may be trolling on that. I don't know, yeah, 76 seconds in the hill. Honestly, he just had a phenomenal map, to be honest. And unfortunately, it came to the point where the 2 rookies, Dahoom and Wixel, I'm not sure if it's Dahoom. People have been saying it's Dahoom. I don't even know what the caster said. I don't unmute, respectfully. But their first ever map as a pro against OpTic, pressure's high, and they both kind of got stinkied on.
I said he kill horde, but my word, did he need some help?
He did need some help.
Yeah,
Doom and Wixel just needed a kill. Just give me one, man.
No, it's like it's great to see. Like I've said it before, man. This team is just going to become it's a development team for the CDL. That's what it is. That's what it honestly is becoming. They're going to find people who are talented on it, get a few kills, and then somebody in the NA is going to offer them a roster that's good. And I think you're going to have to leave Falcons in order to test that, unless they start mixing in some NA players and some NA challengers and really try to do something. I don't think they'll do it this year. Like similar to Heretics, I don't think they'll do it for a while. They're trying to keep this, the Arab main team as at least their template for the first year. But man, I don't know. I still think they're just chalked. I didn't really ever believe that they had a chance of winning. Even when you mentioned this hardpoint map where they're up 100, I was still looking at OpTic and how they were playing situations, and I can see that Falcons weren't playing situations correctly. They were just getting some kills and catching some timings they weren't supposed to get. So OpTic, it was just a matter of time before OpTic playing better COD was going to catch them slipping and start shooting back. So,
I mean, I will say this too. It's like that thing I said, like, OpTic probably weren't going 1,000,000% because they thought, well, Falcons just had a roster change. They've lost their best player. We can chill out. And then they was like, fucking hell, we're down 102 to fucking 8. What the? Never mind. Let me lock in real quick.
yeah.
Which is no excuse. I'm just saying, like, how it could be.
Yeah, I know they were
He's talking all this on his own squad.
Yeah, rough search from you heroes. Only 4 and 7 on the protocol.
Yeah, I know, man. I was really telling the boys what to do.
Start watching VOD or something. Like.
Yeah. Well, after the show, of course, I have to go back to the team.
Yeah, and then the vault was pretty clear cut on the control in the end. So, kind of as I expected the series, it goes like this sometimes. I think when a team is such a heavy favourite, they expect to be winning anyway. Obviously, people have been saying that their warm-up scrims just felt different to how Falcons actually play COD. So, yeah, they were a little bit caught off guard OpTic, but they still got the 3-0. Falcons got a lot to think about, right? But it's a tough series because I look at this map 1 and I think, bloody hell, if they had Khalid or Kicks, whatever, if he was still here, whatever he's dealing with, it'd be a very different story. There's some interesting things happening, by the way, in this Falcons camp, because obviously from the outside looking in, we don't know what's going on with Kicks. We don't know when he's coming back. You know, I don't know how much they know on the situation. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm quite concerned about that, actually. Because I don't think, I don't think there's necessarily any timeline or anything like that for Kicks' return. So I think as far as they're concerned internally at the camp, they basically have to say, we just got to run it like this for as long as we can. And hopefully at some point they can pick out the pieces where they think the talent lies and they can run with it. But yeah, it's going to be a rough couple of months if they don't pick up Yoda King.
That new talent, that generational talent I'm hearing about in challenges. Quick overview one time on this, just for me.
Yeah, I got you.
If you can. Someone said that Xnid in map 1 had more kills than his teammates the entire series.
That is true.
That is true.
Wow, that is true.
That is true. I think the other funny thing was on the over-unders, high lows, whatever. Xnid was at like 52 for the series. That was his line. So he basically broke it map 1.
Which explains, how he got 22 kills in 2 maps.
Yeah, it does.
If you really think about it, he had a stinker.
he only had about 600 more damage than a Wixel at the end of the series, despite having.
If you really think about it, he had a stinker. If it wasn't for that 52 bomb, he might have been 0.7.
It was
only
only
map
16 and 19.
What was the map 3?
It weren't too bad.
Yeah, the map 3, I'm
0.84
sure it's
map
pretty
3.
terrible too.
But yeah, not
0.64.
No, they had a 0.8. He had a 0.8. It wasn't too bad.
Oh, 0.84.
You had the 0.6.
Apparently, Yoda's
Oh, my bad. My bad. Sorry, having a moment there. My bad.
Apparently, my new favorite COD player is live. Yoda King.
No way, Yoda King. Should we go and check up?
Apparently.
The rebrand begins today. He's about to be live every day now, building his brand back up.
What did if he just started speaking like him? Streamers welcome.
That would be shocking. Oh yeah, here we go. Look at this.
Welcome to stream. You see,
his in-game name is also Yoda. He changed his Twitch, his in-game name,
Twitch
and his
is
Twitter.
Yoda King. Oh my!
Yeah, he changed his
days.
Twitch to Yoda King. He's fully committed to the rebrand.
It's such a shit name.
It's actually Yoda King, bro.
Do
640
you reckon
people in there.
Do you reckon he ran it past anyone?
Talk to us, Tees, bro. It's like you said.
It says live. Where's this man at?
I'm a little bit confused by this.
What did you do if his intro was the Star Wars theme tune?
Maybe I need to go on Yoda King, man, because I typed in twitch.tv/illy. Maybe I need to type in Yoda King. Oh god. This might have to be done. Wow. Yeah, this is a real revelation for the gentleman. Is he actually live? Oh no, he is live. Okay, if I type in Yoda King, I get him. And he's going with Yoda in the game. Wow. This is it's an interesting development in the Call of Duty scene today. Not sure I'm a massive fan of it. We'll leave Yoda King to enjoy his evening.
It's so bad.
At least the Kanye and COD. That might be it.
There's not a single thing I can say about this name where I'm thinking, fuck, that's tough.
Illy didn't choose Pope because it would block Falcons from signing him. Good work. Good work. Very good one. I like that. You got to be careful. You also got to think if you're Yoda King a body, King, both players for the Falcons, you can nearly put the full lineup. Yoda King a body, King with the double I, +1, bring Clay back in.
You can't make any merch.
Bring Scump in, the King. You imagine? Scump,
Wow,
King,
that's
King
the
of
format.
body.
King and
then
King
Yoda
and the
King.
King.
The King. Wow. That's my new team I'm forming right there.
Yoda hiding in the pool.
Yoda King of body.
Wow,
It's
the
a bad
timeline-
name.
The timeline has changed, hasn't it? Huh? Like now we're getting COD players switching up their brands. We got Ant talking crazy.
I
We
love
got
that.
world champs.
Reading the Twitch chat right now, bro. Are you on Mars? It has to be a troll. Wait, no way. O Mourinho is in Illy's Twitch chat right now. Is Omar actually here? No way, Omar's back, and the first thing I've heard from him in years. He used to produce the show back in the day. The first thing I'm seeing from Omar in years is he's in Yoda King's chat. There he is, Omarino in the chat. Let's go. I'll message him later. Let's crack on.
Let's get back to it because
Lock in.
All right, so FaZe played Heretics.
It's just been a whirlwind.
It's been a crazy day, guys. Sorry
It's just
about
been a whirlwind of shit.
a lot of emotions. A lot of emotions today.
Yeah, Yoda King's really throwing me up today. But yeah, all right. FaZe played Heretics. The thing that still confuses me a bit about FaZe is that game 1, again, they got piss slammed, right? Like, they play Heretics map
violated.
1, and they got violated, nearly 100 point clubs. Like, I was watching the VOD thinking, what am I actually watching here?
I clicked off it because I thought Ronnie was going to be right.
Yeah, I couldn't handle that.
I clicked off. I said, I swear, I was going to eat my own socks or something if FaZe won. And I just imagine me sat on stream eating me Ralph Lauren stuff.
Can't be having that, right? Yeah. So Selly was getting farmed. They weren't trading anything, going one by one. Heretics had their one good map every blue moon, and it was all looking good. And then it was this moment, which, I mean, look, maybe FaZe win this map anyway, maybe they don't. And to be fair, after this rounds, FaZe lost the next 2 rounds anyway. But this could go down as one of the moments that to some degree revitalized FaZe. I mean, who do we blame in this instance? It's not the first guy's fault. It is the second guy's fault, but it's also the last guy's fault, in my opinion, which is quite rare in COD, actually. But
all right, listen, there's a rule in COD.
It's the second.
If you get 1v3'd, it's the second guy's fault. If you get 1v4'd, it's the second guy's fault. It's not the third guy's fault in a 1v4 race. It's always the second. It's always the second guy's fault.
Trolling, but go to the third guy.
Now, Real trolled hard. The third guy just got naded.
I got blown up by a car. What do you mean? How is that his fault?
This play for
Metals. Goddamn trade.
Yeah, this was the one that, like, all right, so we're in this situation. Simp's just run inside here, 12 seconds on the clock. He can't be defusing because he can only have just got on here. The earliest that Simp could have got on to defuse this bomb was about 12, 13 seconds. So the only time he can possibly have defused it by is about 6.5 seconds. So Metals does not need to peek here for at least another 4 seconds. But he does, he dies, and then Simp gets the defuse with like 2 seconds on the clock. So, I mean, it was Real's fault for flying off the top rope, and then I don't know what Metals was doing.
The rule in clutching is always the second guy's fault, always. Unless it's a 1v2.
That was a blessed nade too. I'm not gonna lie. That guy is blessed nade. But White standing by a car.
I mean, it wasn't defusing the bomb.
They literally trolled so hard though. But like Unreal Clutch, but they literally trolled so hard.
Yeah, it's a insane, absolutely crazy troll. But
what could it be had they won it? Imagine they won this round. They go on because I think this map was 6-4 in the end. So if FaZe lost this rounds, would have been probably around 11. We're talking, who knows? Maybe Heretics got up 2-0. Maybe FaZe lost the plot. Maybe they're bombing out top 12. Like, could be a very different timeline. Yeah. So, but like FaZe deserved the success they had this tournament, and Miami went on to pretty much collapse in the rest of the series. So that was a crucial moment. FaZe go on to take them down 3-1. They won the vault. They dominated the protocol hardpoint. And this, honestly, I mean, it's so weird to go from FaZe nearly getting 100 point clubs on the red cards to just slamming them on the protocol hardpoint. It was just completely dominant. Almost everyone seemed to be double positive in this one. And then we had the final series of the first rounds. Ace, thoughts on this one? Vancouver Surge coming in. Cloud9 New York. They get the dub. It's a 3-0. The gameplay issues.
Listen, I made it clear that there was gameplay issues and that some things were solved. It's a good sign. Again, it's not their most best competition. Yeah, it's not the best competition. I'm not gonna act like it's the end all be all. Some things were solved here. So they put in some work. The ARs did look better, but there's still a lot of room for improvement. Still a lot of room for improvement. They didn't look as there was moments where they trolled, and not this series. The next series when we talk about it, they definitely costed themselves that series 100%.
resolved?
The gameplay issue, yes. I didn't say it was 1,000 times better. I just said the gameplay issue that existed before that led to someone having
Sim's been fried,
the
bro.
worst of the worst numbers. That got solved. That's all I said.
Damn, look at
So now it's actually gameplay issues.
yeah. Look at these gameplay non-issues.
Listen, a 0.9 is better than a 0.7 or 0.6 and 7 he was dropping. So
yeah, 45 and 46.
we're moving up.
I mean, yeah.
Wow.
I mean, listen, they did 3-0, but they did 3-0 an underperforming team as well, in my opinion.
Yeah, 100%.
If they lost this, it would have been embarrassing for sure.
No, we've
Congrats
got to
on the
call
win.
it how it is, though, to be fair, for this Vancouver Surge team. Like, they
They're not
made
very
the biggest downgrade of the offseason. Like, they came into this year, they had Brezzy, serviceable, flex player on the team, and they had Hook. He was there. He was available. They kicked out Hook, they kicked out Brezzy, and they brought in Hixie and Nasty. Both players that I got plenty of time for. I think they're good players on that level. But I don't understand what it is about Rambo and building these ass teams at the start of the year. Like, they did it last year, and they've done it again. Like, you look at this team on paper and the changes they made. You look at Surge of last year. Yeah, Boozer and 04 had their moments, right? But you look at that last year's Surge team and you say, all right, near the end of the season, they were even bordering top 4, top 6, that kind of ballpark. They could have been in the mix there had things gone differently. And then, you know, you're trying to upgrade? Where's the upgrade exactly? Okay, Nasty for Brezzy, I get it. And it's not like Hixie's played bad. Just the whole team seems pretty lost as it stands. Yeah, something about this Rambo race system and setup, it ain't cutting the mustard for me.
3 of these players are like 3 of these guys are like clearly role players. Like 04 is the guy who can win you some S&Ds and he's meant to like just be a head basher. Hixie glues your team together. Nasty does his role. He's good, but he's not your guy who's going to step up. You only have one real shooter on this team rather than, I mean, Hook, I have my criticisms of him as a player in general, but he's still a guy that can win you a game. When you talk about Nasty Hixie 04 probably is who I would lean the most to is going to win you a game, but you don't have any like certified shooters besides the Boozer on that team. So yeah, I would definitely agree with your take that it is a downgrade. Brezzy already filled the role as like a glue guy. Why you have 3 guys who essentially are all just kind of role players? It doesn't make much sense to me what they built, and it makes sense why it's not working.
I think it's true.
Trey can't comment on this one because it's all the EU homies.
Nah, it is my dogs in it, but like you are right. You know, it's Hixie on Toronto's team. You know, he done the hard work, and everyone was like, "Oh, he's ash." You know, he drops 0.7s, whatever like that. No, he helped them win. You know, he's coming to this team. He's performing the best on their team. Like I think they're all good on different teams. I think together they just don't work.
Yeah, it's tough. It's a tough call.
We've all seen them on different teams where it works.
Mm-hmm.
Nasty on LA Thieves worked. Hixie wasn't in the league last year, but when he was in the league on Toronto, he played well with them, and they were winning. 04 and Abuser last year, fried. You know, they were good. Together, they just don't work, and unfortunately, like it is now, they're probably going to have a major, not a very good one at that, and probably make a roster change.
Who gets swapped? If you had to guess at this point.
I think, realistically, I really do think you could swap anyone in that team.
No. Abuza? You're not going to swap Abuza, bro.
Right now, looking at that team play, you could swap anyone in that team.
That's a little crazy. That's where I disagree, but I would say like the 2 players you picked up are the 2. That's never the scenario you want, you know? The 2 guys you pick up or the players you pick up to be the guy you want to swap out. I feel like it's like worst case scenario generally. Because you brought the guy in to be better. You brought the guy in to improve your system, and now that's the guy you're trying to like take out.
I mean, I'm just saying, out of all 4 of those, I'm not seeing any standout players now.
Right now, no. But I feel like it could be.
I'm saying you're telling me if I had to choose one player out of there to pick someone else up, I couldn't tell you who it is. It could be any 4. It could be any of them.
Sure. I just think that like Abuza in 04 in a sense, in this case, Abuza for sure. I'm saying Abuza only, actually, not a 4 in this right now. When you're playing like that with 3 guys who aren't giving you much, it's gonna affect your stats. I think you put him on a different team, or you surround him by better players. He's not gonna look like that. He's not gonna look the way he is right now. I think it's one of those situations for him specifically.
I just don't think that team's good. And like I said, any 4 of those players could go to a different team and make a different team better. But as a 4 of them together, it just don't work.
The thing is with this team, like, I look at it and I think the best they're ever going to be is like a Game 5 Neslo team, you know? Like, that's as good as you're ever going to get. They're ever going to be coming in 3-0 and anyone that isn't called the Falcons? Like, no, right? And that's just your issue. Like, you've got to at least give the team a chance. Yeah, look at their results. They lost a couple Game 5s. They lost a 3-1. They lost a 3-0. Their only wins are Game 5 against Miami. Terrible search and destroy team. So, like...
Who Miami are frauds anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So it doesn't even count. This is your issue. It's like you were saying. You need an actual Slayer on there.
Only reminder too that I just want to put out there again. I'm trying to give grace to a lot of at least early on in the show, to teams that are doing bad, but they're also playing from like Vancouver. They're playing from Canada, not the good side of Canada where you have the best internet. You're playing from the other side. So I don't think they're gonna make any changes before Major 1. We might see a completely different team on LAN. There's just one assessment of this team that I think we have to kind of leave. I'm gonna leave some room there because I think that is one thing we're gonna see. We're gonna see like Abuza is gonna be much better on LAN. I think 04 is gonna be better on LAN, and I think Nasty's gonna be better on LAN. I mean, we'll see.
I still think they bow out like top 12 at LAN though.
Top 12?
That's the issue, right? Like, you suck online, you start in losers, you play one match. It's like you can't get a good representation of how good you are. It's like what happened to Boston last year when they turned up to Boston.
That,
Slasher dropped to 1.4. They go top 12, and he's like, "Well, what do you want me to do?"
Let's not forget as well, like some of the good teams aren't playing the best in the league matches, so there's a chance that they could go in losers bracket and they'll fuck it all up. Take FaZe, for example. They're not looking the hottest in league matches. Yeah, they just won the minor, but they're not looking hottest in league matches. So, like, it's scary early on if you're a team that ain't doing so well, and the top teams could go into losers bracket with you and just fuck you up.
That's true.
Surge out of the tournament. Let's talk about the next round. We've got 8 teams remaining. The minor continues.
It's getting a little better now. A little spicier.
I think we could talk about the Minnesota Rocker, the run that they made, the backs against the wall, because
I think it's an ass run. Just want to let it be known. But
yeah,
I commend the composure.
Yeah,
like,
I do respect it a lot.
I think it's an ass run though, just consistently winning game 5s. But I respect the composure.
Yeah,
like,
they got some cheese, some replay cheese in there. But I don't know, I do love the mentality for these guys. I think Nero sometimes is kind of the epitome of that, really. Like, he's always a player that, he's had his ups, he's had his downs, he's going to make his mistakes, he's going to have his takeover maps, but he is a player who is going to fight to the death. And I think the other guys are in a similar boat. Great to see Estriel, by the way, have a real good series a couple of occasions, because he's been one of the players that we looked for. He was very much arguably Rookie of the Year last year. Gwyn got it in the ends, but Estriel was in the conversation because LAG made the big run at the final major. He was looking like their best player on LAN. So there was an argument to be made. Obviously, I was hoping that as a player who was in the conversation for Rookie of the Year, he actually would keep it up, because otherwise we've got yet more talent getting kicked out of the league soon. But I don't think that's the case here with Estriel. This Estriel-Geo-Nero pairing, look, they're going to have their good maps. They're going to have their bad maps. But it's usually going to be pretty good. And Paulex is pulling the pieces together. It's not like Paul's numbers are good. And if they'd have lost earlier in this tournament,
way too inconsistent.
Yeah, it would have been a problem. But, I mean, a reverse sweep against Toronto. First of all, Toronto should have closed this out in 3. No doubt about it. Insight had a streak. They had a 2 versus 7 on the vault defense. Like, it was a criminal loss. I don't know if... I don't want to play... I realize if I play too much of this, we might get demonetized because the CDL's doing this stuff nowadays. But I'll just kind of run this out real quick at the end here. Because Insight
Yeah,
literally has a
yeah.
streak in hand, and he doesn't call it in because he forgets, and then they cap the point here, Gio and Nero.
It's crazy.
And then they got
That's
that
what,
shit.
that's what I'm talking about though. Like I feel like Rocker relies on the other team to make mistakes. If the other team didn't make a mistake, they would just get slammed.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's not domination. Like it's very clearly not like they're dominating anyone. It's a lot of give and pull with them. I do want to give them obviously the credit for holding up and making it to game fives, but I think as the year goes on and teams start making less mistakes, they're going to be a team we see drop off the fastest.
It ain't consistent enough. That's not a consistent way of winning. Just game fives over and over and over again. It ain't consistent. Like I said, I commend the composure though, for sure. I just feel like they rely on another team fucking up, and I think the best thing I can say about it is if another team fucks up, they capitalize on it heavily. Like I always go back to the Linz play, the first day that we watched it, Ace. How they just like, and I think they have good composure. I just don't see it as a consistent way of winning, which they could just shut me up and win game fives all year long. They might all be bald by the end of it or receding, but end of the day,
no comment.
It's yeah. But end of the day, that's just how they're winning, and right now it's working for them. So fuck it. But I think they're gonna have some issues in the future, especially when the game gets more consistent.
A win is a win, though. You know, win is a win. So credit, again, the sub duo looking ridiculous. I do agree with Trey's take though that if you could upgrade in the AR department, call Yoda King. He might be a guy you may want to have step in for Paul X, and your team could find a lot more success. And you if you could win both S&Ds, you could win a championship. So I do think they need a little bit of a step up for in their AR role.
Yoda, pick up, you will.
Shut up, bro.
But Yoda King, I'm never gonna
He
get
was
over
waiting. He was cooking that one up for a minute. He was just waiting to say it. He's like, when can I use this?
I'm never gonna get over
Yoda
King.
Oh my god, what a terrible name. On to the next team.
Toronto, we want to talk about them, to be fair, like because they
Yeah.
actually managed to lose to these cats. Like they should have 3-0'd them. I think it's interesting, right? Because Beans has kind of been exactly what I expected him to be. Insight is just still super underwhelming to me outside of the Search and Destroys. Like, I know that Kleenex had a great map 1 and then fell off a bit in the final couple of maps. He had a rough map 4, map 5, as did Joe Thieves. But I think Insight is probably my player to watch, really, just because we saw this last year at times when I'm watching the gameplay and I'm like, what does he actually do? And I think with Scrappy, it worked reasonably well. Beans is good, but he's not quite going to deliver what Scrappy's delivering. So, I don't know. I think there's just a lot to think about it. His Search and Destroy is always going to be mega. There's no doubt about that one. But a lot of his cards from last year, you know, they looked something like this if it wants to load, where you got good hill time, but just not, you know, many kills and much damage. And that's fair enough. But I think my argument probably is in this game, it's time to shoot the gun. Like, I think Celium has the same thing, where when FaZe actually looked good, Celium is playing at a faster pace. And it's not always so easy to do that because, you know, you've got a team that's also playing fast. So you've got to make sure you're playing at a level that can handle that. But you tend to find the best series that these guys play, certainly on Black Ops 6, they are putting some pace down. The good teams are doing it. Shout out Upline Cast, by the way. 10 bomb.
Big 10 beaner.
10 beans.
That's what we like to see.
Love that.
Appreciate it.
I just think Insight's just too slow. I think that's what it is. And the slow play style works and sometimes like that, but even you saw with Toronto last year, they had their ups and downs, and I think they had more downs than ups.
Mm-hmm.
And I think as good as good of a player Insight is, I think he's a bit too slow. So he might need to speed it up.
Yeah, I don't think it's time to like drop him or consider any changes yet. It's more just like let's talk and start moving a little bit faster because this game it really is built on like the quickest. It's probably one of the quickest games we've had in a really long time. Like quick decision making in this game and having to process everything as fast as possible and make the right play. Like there's so many flank angles. There's so many different levels, like different bottoms and tops of different maps. So you got to be moving, man. On this game specifically, like you got to be moving, or it's gonna cost your team heavily in respawns.
Because inside's got a gunny. It's like dashy. When you get dashy, start speeding up a little bit. Use your gunny to your advantage. Done and dusted. As you can see right here, Insight is 50th on engagements.
And Wixel played one hardpoint map, so you can actually just kind of
don't even count
that.
him. Yeah, don't even count him. Really,
It's Insight and Cell and Skies, and then Lucky and then Priester. Like, you know, it's not a surprising selection of players, but it is, you know,
Another
something
10
that
bomb.
they want to think
Beans is
about.
number one.
No. That's good. Appreciate
Thank
you,
you.
online,
Appreciate you,
Carlos.
bro.
You're the man.
No, this. I mean,
Podcast line.
it kind of fits into the exact like, bro. Look at these names: Inside, Cell, Skies, Lucky, Priesta. How much more? And even Awaken, like Awakening. Like, bro, it's so exactly how we expect it to be.
Yeah, and you go to the
Like,
top, you find Hydra, Kleenex. This is interesting that, I mean, Mac is frying first up. Xnid is here
I can't
as
wait
well.
to talk about that. I can't wait to talk about. I can't wait to at least say the high points of C9. Okay, and Mac is the shining star right now of C9.
Look at
So I can't wait
Dashi
to
as
talk
well,
about that.
man. So inspirational. Like, as an AR, he's managed to be above Scrappy in engagements with 10. But the point is, let's just look at Dashi. I mean, okay, we'll look at Dashi and then Kenny, and then where Scrap and Ghosty find themselves. Like, Dashi's here at 53, Scrap's here at 52.5. And then the other guys, I'm guessing, are going to be relatively mid-pack. Yeah, Ghosty and Kenny, 36, 37, their teammates, right? So they're at 47 engagements per 10. And
Envoy's like 47th, I think.
yeah,
Envoy's pretty down there as
Envoy's
well,
pretty
man.
low. Envoy's 43rd, 47 as well. But the point is that, like, the ARs on Thieves and OpTic are doing like 47 and 52 engagements for 10 minutes. Whereas the ARs on, I mean, Beans is only at 48 here, and Insight's bottom of the league. Now, of course, it depends on maps to some degree, like what maps they're playing. But, you know, FaZe have been slower. Toronto have been slower. Obviously, FaZe are now winning, but when they won, they played quicker. That was at least my observation.
Yeah, I mean, this is gonna be one of those things. Like these stat lines, obviously, early in the season. I think after Major 1 is gonna tell us a lot more. But it is already building up to fit the narratives that these certain AR players are slower, and it's the names we expected, and these certain players are faster. And besides Mac, it pretty much is exactly who we expected on the top. Hydra, Kleenex, Dashi, Scrap, these guys. So, yeah, Toronto's a really great team. They just need to. I think, again, they're a great team, great talent. Just need to step it up in terms of, like, figuring out their pacings. And their team of people who are very good. So I don't have any doubt that by Major 1, especially after they sit back and watch how they lost here, I do think in the next few weeks we do see a revitalized and better Toronto team. I'll make a prediction now. I don't think they lose up until the Major. I think every league match they're gonna win every league match up until the Major now.
I think it's possible that for some of these teams, like after they come out the minor not playing how they wanted to, they might. I think for Thieves, for sure, they're going to feel a bit revitalized, like a bit more energy to really deliver. But yeah, their upcoming games, I mean, they play OpTic, the final one. They play Rocker and Gorillas are the next two for Toronto. And then they play OpTic, so all of them are winnable.
Yeah, I mean, again, I just think the way when they sit back and they see what just happened and really break it down, and also watch some of the strats and stuff that we saw from other teams like FaZe throughout the tournament. This is a really smart roster. Like I think people doubt how good of a intelligent roster this is. They're gonna adapt quickly, and I don't think anyone's gonna beat them up until the Major. That's my it's only 3 matches, but that's my prediction.
I don't know. Who do they play?
They play Rocker, Gentlemates, OpTic.
They're going to lose one of those.
Watch OpTic.
Yeah.
All right. We see. Up Castle again, bro, for the haircut beads.
Let's go. He's dropped another one.
Dude, this guy is the #1 Beans lover. We appreciate you, bro.
I
Thank you.
respect a Bean supporter. Beans on toast.
I mean, I'm a Bean supporter.
Yeah, I
I'm a
like
Beans
Beans
supporter
too.
now too. After Saudi, I'm a definitely Beans and Toast supporter for sure.
I forgot about that. Oh my God.
I got
Yeah, we
converted,
about that.
honestly.
Yeah, I went so hard. All right, so that's like 5 games down. Let's go. You know, I want to do OpTic playing Boston next because this was a really interesting series, and OpTic, none of their series were clean, and obviously they eventually lost. So I want to take this not with a pinch of salt, but like after this series, I was trying to figure out like, are Boston actually just nice with it? Because I think that is true to some degree. At the end of the day, they got a bye into the second round here for a reason, because they'd played well online and they'd beaten OpTic. But they do seem to play OpTic super close every time. I don't know what it is. These online matches, they always seem to be bangers with OpTic. Game 1 was super competitive. OpTic will definitely feel like they should have won this. There was the play that that Snoopy made. I don't actually know if we got it clipped exactly, but the Snoopy, yeah, maybe it was this. Yeah, it was this play from Snoopy where he goes around the outside of the map and he cuts in and gets 3. That was a big moment. Kind of won Boston the game. Then it was a back and forth series. OpTic won in a round 11 on the Hacienda. Boston, they went back either way, and OpTic eventually won on a protocol. But super competitive series. Obviously, some of the numbers here really standing out again. But Snoopy, man, look, I did talk about it in our preseason show at some point. I was like, most improved player of the year. I want it to be Snoopy. I want Boston to at least show that their decision to stick by this guy has been the right decision. And certainly for a game like BO6, no doubt in my mind, that's a good idea. Whether the supporting cast is the best, I don't know. But in a similar way, I guess, to the Cloud9 team, it's the SMGs that are really showing out here for Boston.
I backed your beef too when you mentioned that Snoopy would be the most improved. I actually did back your beef, and I know that's the shock of many of our fans and stuff. But yeah, this game, like same way I like to talk how this game was built for Shotzzy. Shotzzy and Snoopy, similar players. Snoopy's obviously not as talented as Shotzzy, or he's not doesn't have the same processing power for the game just yet. He's younger, but with some time. No, I'm serious. It takes time. It takes a vet to build that up. But over time, I do believe in his talent. I believe in his potential, and I think with the right guys around him, he could be ridiculous in this league. Is this team the one that's gonna do it? No. Similar to the Rocker team, I think consistency is a problem. As other teams begin to learn the game and become more consistent, I think right now it's a lot of capitalization of mistakes rather than playing COD the right way. Once other teams are all playing the right way, I think this team is going to have some trouble catching up. The other person on this team, so I gave Snoopy his flowers. I do think he's going to be one of the best players in this game. But yeah, Joe Awakening, another year, right? Another year of a guy getting a chance again for this game. Pre-sale for another guy too, but like he's not performing the way that I would want him to, and the way that I would expect him to. I do think he has a lot of support. I think a lot of people enabling him with Purge and Snoopy, and Snoop opens up the map. Purge is a guy notoriously that's a fill-in guy. Joe or Cammy, either one of them honestly should be frying, but I want to see more from again. I know 1.0 is right in the middle, but the type of awakening we had go 2 years back and prior was an absolute unit of a Slayer. So that's the guy I expect back in this kind of fast-paced game. He has some of the lowest engagements as well. So, bro, put your iron up and start shooting the guys. Start cleaning up some kills. Your KD should be absurd. You should have a 1.2 at this point. So, if I need someone to step up on this team, I need Joe to start being Mr. Cleanup right now.
I mean, I don't think he's had bad series when they've won. I think if you scroll down, Rab, like he's actually pretty good at this game. I just think he used to be the guy that was Mr. 1.2, 1.3 consistently. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't know whether he's changed his play style to benefit everyone else around him, because he had that stigma going around about him that he's just a kill whore on Florida. He don't help his team or anything like that. But I think he's actually been pretty good this year. So far, I think that series he had versus OpTic there, I think it's just, one of those odd ones where he's just dropped a bad KD from Joe. But I actually think he's been pretty consistent this year.
Dashy just ran it as well this series, but yeah.
Yeah. I feel like it's just one of those series. But if you look over the course of the year at his matches and stuff like that, he's had pretty good KDs. And I know KD's not everything. And there's certainly times where he could speed up or something like that. But I think this Boston team is just a good sleeper team.
I think they legit actually are quite nice. Like they actually are.
Yeah, they actually have a lot of potential.
They're top 6 right now for sure.
If they can lock it in, and again, my biggest fear with them, like worry for them, is the progression in the game, the learning of the game, the consistency in the next few weeks and going into Major 1 and 2 and 3. The best teams get better and start implementing and fixing their mistakes game to game and start playing the game more consistently, map to map, scrim to scrim. This is not a young team, but you do have some players with less experience. That's my concern, that consistency over the course of a season may not get there, so they can have a big drop off. Them, Rocker, are my 2 biggest candidates for that type of problem to happen.
If Awakening ain't working out, I mean,
you call it.
We know a guy that can get.
The pickup
We know someone they can have a call to. So yeah, I like that. Boston are a fun team to watch, actually.
I would say we do joke, but like it is honestly good to see that. Separate note, but Illy is like top. He's on the cusp right now. I think we're gonna see him on a team soon. That's a little bit exciting. I think for me as a fan, I want to see him get back in and see what he can do in this game. Oh, we have Spencer in the chat.
Yeah, we got Doug in the chat. We're the second youngest team. We are second youngest team by average in the CDL, and it's a good team.
It's a good team.
Yeah, as I said too. Again, my only concern is the youth and some of the inexperience over the course of a season. That's exactly what I'm pinpointing too.
Good friend of the show, Doug.
That could work in your favor as well. So we'll see.
I think that is a sleeper team for the year. Like so far, I think that like when you look at Boston, you don't think this team's going to do much, but they put up a good fight and they've won most of their series.
I think there's room for improvement as well.
And they have a standout player too. Yeah. They have a guy who could take over in Snoopy. So that's also very critical.
All about consistency right now. Now this team, like you said, Doug, second youngest team in the league. On average, they could have a bad run and it could chalk their team heavily because they are, a young team. They've got players that have been around for a while, but, this team just needs a good run of games like they did in Major 1, and they're going to be a good team, and they got to take it to LAN then. And then that's when you know if you're a good team or not.
Oh, look
LAN
at this,
is
though.
The be-all, end-all.
To be fair, this is going to be kind of telling. Look at their upcoming games. They play Ravens, second place. They play FaZe, first place. And they play Thieves. That's their final 3 games. So if they can get... I mean... This is a perfect run, though, to be fair. Yeah, I mean, it's tough. Like, they played... They beat OpTic, they lost to Rocker, and they've beaten Surge and Heretics. And to be fair, you look at their results, the only teams they've beaten were Surge and Miami in 5. But they beat OpTic once, and they won't get... They've called Game 5 every series. I didn't even realize that. They did it last year as well. Wasn't there a time they didn't do it last year?
They're a Game 5 team. They just had...
That's what I'm saying. Last year, they lost to the Game 5.
I think this game is part of it as well. This game is kind of like so finicky that like
we do love a Game 5 in this game, but also a lot of Game 5s are quite well constructed.
I don't like a Game 5 because all matches seem to be consistent of right now is 2 Haciendas and 3 protocols or 2 Volts. And
so many protocols this weekend.
Yeah, bro.
It was actually getting to me.
Yeah, that part of it is not my favorite.
But if they can win one of these series. Like, if they can take FaZe and Thieves, if they can take all of these 3 guys to Game 5 again, like, that would be... That's enough for me to show that they've got some potential. Obviously, LAN's a big deal, but I think the Purge-Snoopy combo, I liked it when it was forms. We saw them at the World Cup. They were okay, but they had more time to prepare for the season than some of the other teams, and I think a lot of their decisions seem to be paying off. I'm not convinced this is the 4-man roster that they should stick with for the next 6 months, but definitely they've made some good decisions finally. It could well be. Yeah.
It could be It could be because of Boston making it be that way, but I think ideally,
It's Yoda King.
You're the pickup.
Well, one of the ARs is gonna step up. The other AR is gonna step down, and I think one of the ARs is gonna swap out. That's what if I had to make an early prediction for that team.
All I'm
The
saying
subs, though, I
is
love.
Doug ran an AR towards the end of his career. Just saying.
Hey, Doug, it might be time, man. I hope if your hands are
do it
better
again.
before, come bring it back, run it back.
I'm just saying, you
Your
got
best team in
the
a bit.
Guinness World Records. It's time for that ring, baby. It's time for that ring.
You know what I'm saying? One thing knocked down, you got to get the other one now. Check it off. Check it off the checklist.
Nah, he already got his ring from 2011 Nationals. All good. We'll go back to the tournament here. So, yeah, let's find this again real quick. So next series, you guys get the choice where we go. Do we go to the Snake and Drama first, or do we go to Los Angeles Thieves losing the tournament first?
Nah, let's get some snake and drama. We need some drama in our lives right now.
I'm down for the drama. Alrighty,
drama.
ladies and gentlemen. Ravens
I need this in my life.
versus Cloud9 New York. And here we go. This was a banger. They played online. It was a reverse sweep. This one was, again, a Game 5 Round 11, like absolute Ultra Bang series. Shout out Upline Cast 9 again. For the 2-bomb, again, Cloud9, this time they won 2 very, very tight hard points. But it was both of the Search and Destroys that went the way of the Ravens. And the Game 5 was a 5-3 lead for Cloud9 that they squandered. They threw it away. Ravens iced up. Again, just such a good Search and Destroy team. And who is surprised? They got Slasher and TJ, 2 of the best Search and Destroy players to ever do it. And the Crumble Cookie Man himself had a mega series here. But the big drama was happening Game 1. And let's get into that right about now. So here we are on the final hard point, pretty much. An important moment. Cloud9 are bringing it back. They're about 15 points down on the Ravens. And here's Sib on the car, on Hacienda. And look, this is pretty shameless, right? That there's pretty much no doubt what's going on here. This is looking like
reaction to this was
prime Trey Zero back in Infinite Warfare.
I think Octane said to Zuma, he was like, opinions on this. Somebody goes, well, it's just straight red card, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, like, here he is. Zuma's kind of mind-bladed it. Like, this is some Modern Warfare 2 Greenberg Hotel snaking.
Put the sound up for this.
Yeah, I'll play this one.
It's so funny.
Yeah, it's such a heads up moment.
What are you thinking, Tom?
Whoa! I'm thinking hard fucking red card. I'm thinking hard.
Yeah.
Oh shit, we're pulling out the
Yo, his voice cracking that is so funny, bro.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm thinking hard fucking red card.
It's difficult to come up with too many other explanations here. So, look, Ace, I'm going to allow you to say Lamar's opinion, if you would say like.
Say Lamar. Why would I say Lamar's opinion? I'm not saying any. I'm saying my own opinion. Listen, if we play back the video, if we play back the video, you can clearly see he stops after the 3rd pump.
3.
Play. You can play. Wait, we can't play it, or no? Is it possible demonetization?
I mean, like, to be honest, I think anything can get done.
He pauses.
Okay, he pauses after 3. He lays down, and then he stands back up, and he goes 1, 2, 3.
Ace, there's no
Pauses
Ace.
again.
4. Ace, there's no defending it, kid.
It's not defending this
They
kid.
said 3.
The people in the
He's
chat
within
were
the
right.
guidelines.
The reply kids were right. Ace was going to defend it.
Ace, there's no defending that.
No, I mean, it's egregious. Like, it also shouldn't be 3 anyway. It's meant to be 2. It's meant to be 2, and the 3rd is a red card.
Sib knows it's outrageous too because they're accepting a week of no pro scrims because of it.
Listen, is it absolutely blatant? Yes. Is it within the guidelines? Yes. Do they deserve their scrims canceled for a week? Yes.
What?
That's
That
what I'll
is
say.
not.
That-
That is
Wow.
not. That, what,
Wait, that's
that
a
is
jump.
not in the guidelines.
The guidelines?
That's within the
Are
guidelines.
these
That's within
guidelines
the guidelines.
written? These
That is not
guidelines
in the
exist in the
guidelines.
real world?
And also,
Guidelines?
have there been other? Is this the first true instance of snaking that we've seen?
I think it's got to be. And that's why some
It's
of the
the first
drama
red
is
card.
happening.
It's the first red card, I guess.
Maybe there was
but-
one yellow card in December, but, you know.
Nah, I'm gonna look at this and just say, yeah, they deserve their punishment. That's all I'll say. They deserve their punishment, and
I don't give a fuck if he stopped, by the way, Ace. That motherfucker was shagging the ground. He was just doing it and doing it and doing it.
No respect.
He stopped for a breather and then went to do it and do it and do it. He was on a rhino pill for this snaking. He was on one. Only packets a lot. He was on it. He was on the lot.
yeah, again, at the end of the day, they deserve their punishment for it. The week off scrims.
Well, is it actually going to be a week off? That's the question. We can discuss in a second.
Sure, yeah, go ahead.
That's okay. So there's a couple of interesting developments on this, really. So Ghosty came out and said, I started the vote for C9 to be blacklisted 1 week. We've seen this before. The pros obviously are going to try and enforce the GAs. The real drama came down to what this punishment was actually going to be, because obviously it's pretty blatant what Sib did. Even Sib admitted in the replies, he was like, look, fair, deserve a punishment for this. I don't really know why Sib did it. I do wonder if there was a little element of like, well, you know, first offense. And the other thing is, if the camera isn't on you, which there's like, I wouldn't say a 1/8 chance, because obviously you're in the hard point, you're having a gunfight. But if the camera isn't on you or isn't on the other guy, which is relatively slim, but if it isn't, you don't get caught. Nobody knows. So you kind of get away with it. So there's that. You
Nah,
have a
you get
chance. You have a chance
get
of not getting caught if you do it. You have a chance of not getting caught.
Because you're gonna get called out by the pro player, and the CDO record all like 8 PC VODs as well. I'm pretty sure they record.
Okay,
They record all
interesting. So you are gonna
They
get
record
called
all POVs. You go. Listen. Could you imagine if Sib done that to like Shotzzy and there was no like proof of it? And like
Shotzzy
Shotzzy
would
calls
be
him out on
going,
Twitter,
right?
and then he gets the proof of it. Like, you know, like
That'd be a story,
Listen.
yeah. With the
I will
pair,
say,
though, 'cause it's like,
apparently that head glitch that Sib was shooting at, though, apparently like you can't shoot the guy back on the head glitch, so that's why someone was saying like he was snaking him, but it still does not, like, you know.
just crouch behind it and then, like, stop him challenging you. Like, what? You're in the hill. Okay, whatever.
Or snake twice like a good guy. You know? Snake
Yeah.
twice
Or-
like a
Or
good
you can
guy,
pop
and
2
then chill
pumps and
out.
lay down.
Or just bring Snake him back.
Nah, we can't do that. You're
No
crazy.
way,
You're
Trace.
crazy for that.
promoting
You're crazy for that
Snake in
take,
return.
Trey.
All I'm saying is that was when COD was its funnest, because that was the craziest 3 and 4 pieces, and the crowd would go wild.
I hated watching that.
Oh, it was ass.
It was ass. So, okay. I don't know why Sib thought the need. The other thing was, look, if Sib, by hitting 3 pumps, was getting blacklisted and kicked out of the league and banned until next year's game, then he wouldn't have done it, right? So there's obviously always a little punishment element. If you think that maybe you can get away with it or the punishment isn't going to be that bad, you might do it. And there's always this talk about, well, is it the first offense? Are we punishing all the instances? At the end of the day, it's on the pros to figure out their own shit, right? Like, they've come up with these rules. They've got to implement their own rules. So there's a couple of developments on this. Shout out Upline Cast, by the way, for another Upcast Online.
Never seen
Another
Beans
2
hit a
pump.
2 pump.
Beans never even hit a 2 pump.
I've
That's my
I've
goat,
seen Beans at a 2 pump, buddy.
Uh-huh.
I've seen it.
What
So
do you-
the-
hey,
go on.
what do you mean by that? That's all I want to say. What do you mean by that? Go ahead.
All right, so the update development that I have of the day on this story is that, according to some digging that Ronnie has been doing, the blacklist is not actually going to be for a week. So as Ghosty says, he even replied this to Sib, they've been having discussions and it will not be a week. My understanding is it's going to be like 1 day of no scrims that Cloud9 are going to have this upcoming week sometimes. They're going to get blacklisted for a day, and then all future offenses, now that they've come to this conclusion as a pro teams, basically, on what they're actually going to do about this going forwards, is going to be at least like a 3-day, if not a week, going forwards. So that's my understanding of what's been happening here. The pros, because for whatever reason they didn't figure this out before the season began, because, you know, it's the pro players. So now there's an instance has happened. They've now had the conversation to be like, okay, what should the punishment be? And then they've thought that it was a bit unfair to give the maximum 1 week punishment to Cloud9 on a first offense when nobody really knew what the rules were. So it's a bit of cheese, but I think that's where we are. And we're going to have Cloud9 get in 1 day of scrims this week they're not going to have. Because even last night, they were still scrim and exceeds teams. They're not blacklisted yet. My understanding is they're going to be blacklisted for like a day sometime in the coming days.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the rules as it was. If you guys remember, it was by offenses. So it was 3 strike rule, right? 1 strike was 1 day, 2nd strike was week, 3 strikes was the split. And the only team that hit 2 strikes, I mean, they gave them some grace, honestly. It should have been 3, was Surge. And they got that week where they couldn't scrim. So now it was someone's first offense. So like it maybe surprises some people, and some people are probably outraged. They're like, wow, it was so blatant and he's only getting such a short time. But again, it's a system set up to like, it's infractions. It's your first time offending. You're not going to give someone the maximum on the first time. But if it starts getting blatant past that, then yeah, I think, throw the book at them. So I think it's fair. I think 1 day is pretty okay.
It should be 1 day per pump.
I like that.
Wow.
1 pump over the 2, right? So like,
yeah.
So
yeah.
So he went 2, 3. That's 1, and then the next set of pumps he went 2, 3, 4. So I'm thinking 3 days.
4.
Yeah. The second run he went 4 pumps, no doubt. It was a clean 4.
Could you imagine that? Someone's zoom at the ref. That's a red card. 3 pumps, 3 days missing scrims. Done.
Done.
No VAR review. No VAR review.
That's what we need our commissioner to do here in the league. So
that's what I'm telling you, bro. We need Benjay as the commissioner because that would spark some like really good like drama,
Speaking of Benjay,
like, Lamar, can you imagine Lamar arguing with Benjay about why he's been banned from scrims?
Imagine like the coach gets like a red card sent to the stands or something. He can't look at the scrims. That'd be a premium Benjay punishment.
Send it.
So Benjay was beefing Lamar. This is pretty common. I'll just share the last couple of seconds of this because this is when Lamar rage quits the call.
No, man. This is why.
This is like when professional athletes get fined $1,000 for a penalty. It's like, who the fuck cares? They're gonna keep doing it because it's all penny to them.
So shut the fuck up and let me talk. What I'm saying is that
I mean,
yes,
to be
the
fair,
standards that were set.
Treat him with some fucking respect.
Let him talk, man. Let him talk.
Go ahead.
Lamar.
No, go
Out
ahead.
of here, bro.
Is he? You're leaving? Ben, come on, man. What the fuck?
That was awkward. That was awkward.
I don't know. He disrespected the fuck out of me. Like that was actually insane.
Man, what the hell?
I mean,
In an actual match.
Okay, premium content. Ace, I need your take on this. Lamar getting called out. Crybaby cheese. Terrible coach. No, no accountability. Disrespect to the GOAT Benjay. Wow, I can't believe it. I'm shocked.
You want so much entertainment right now. I hate it. Nah, in reality, they were cutting him off. So it's like, I don't know. You bring someone on to talk. Imagine on our show, every time we bring someone on, we let them talk. Whether we had Doug on here, Slasher, we've had Sib on here. We kind of give them we give them as much space as possible to speak and get their point out. The Flank's notorious, issue between each other is that they always interrupt each other. And I think it's, we have a certain way of doing things and interrupting and being annoying like that. I think I would lose full too.
I mean, look, I said it before the show kicked off. Go on, Trey.
No, I was gonna say I might start doing that to Ace every time you say serious Ace. What? Nice.
Wait, is it disrespectful?
I do agree every time. He even goes to him like, all right, Lamar, you can talk. As soon as Lamar starts talking, he just cuts him off instantly.
It's crazy.
I watched it. I don't think Benjay's wrong in terms of what he's saying, but I also think I would lose full if someone said, "Yo, floor's all yours. You can talk," and then the first thing I say is butts in. I'd fucking lose it too. I'd be out of there too.
Yeah, it was really that. I get Lamar also telling him to shut up, like shut the fuck up or whatever, was a little bit hard, a little bit brash, too soon. Like give it a second. But yeah, nah, he got interrupted too many times.
I mean, look, it's just one of these beefs. Obviously, Zoo was taking some flack as well because initially he wanted the content, he wanted to hear Lamar's perspective, so he was kind of like, "Oh, come on, Ben, like why'd you do that?" type thing, rather than because I think Ben made a fair point. Again, it's what I was saying before the show kicked off, that we get these moments where things get a little bit heated, right? He's trying to give his perspective. Someone else is trying to give his perspective. Sometimes you get little moments like this. It doesn't mean that all of a sudden these guys hate each other. Like they're never, going to be beefing forever. Or this guy's a terrible person. That guy's a terrible person. Like it doesn't work like that. Like, okay, everyone has their good and bad moments. You just don't see all of them in public. So, and here we've got obviously Lamar having his comments for Ben. And then the next day, they're like, you know what? Yeah, my bad. Like, we go again. It's not. No one's a villain here.
I mean, even from we remember, like me and Ben had our little moment too when we were in Riyadh, and like, it happens. Ben's an opinionated guy.
Benny versus Ben.
But I will say Ben's a good guy though. Ben is a good guy though. So Ben, no matter if he's opinionated or causes a problem, he will reach out to you or talk to you and keep things normal. So I'm glad they were, the two men spoke it out, handled it, and the next day Lamar was back on the flank as if nothing happened. So shout out both of them for not making this become some like weird, long-standing beef, and it really was just a small little thing. So, at the end of the day, we talk about it. It was pretty funny, and it's only funny because it didn't like last longer than just a day. So I'm glad they figured it out.
Yeah, agreed. So, yeah, go on, Trey.
I mean, Benjay's just full of a generational crash out. We saw that in Riyadh.
We did.
That was so
if you guys
good.
remember the Benjay crash out, it was. I sat there. And
I sat there.
I could not believe my eyes that Benjay had a crash out like that in him, which is good to know for future reference, because anytime we see Benjay again and he's on our show, I will be doing it again.
Oh man, people do remember the Benjay Riyadh crash out. That was different. Can we get the Benjay head sample?
The Benjay head. Have you seen that?
I have seen it. Yeah. See if I can find it.
Let me see if I can get it for you real quick.
The behind the scenes crash out with me and him was that I kept being late to the bus that was taking us to the event, and then one day he lost composure on me in the hotel, and then we didn't talk for a bit. Then later in the day, I was like, all right, let me just say it to him. And then I apologized to him, and he's like, yeah, we're good now. And then everything moved on completely normal. That is a funny guy, bro.
Oh, it is this.
But like, that's the Gersh edit, and there's a link to the original video that he's quote tweeted.
Okay, brilliant. Yeah. I literally went to Gersh's Twitter, but I thought I'd missed it. I thought it was more recent than this. But yeah, good find. Yeah, here you go. This is probably my favorite video of the end of 2024. He actually proper slams it as well. Like, look at the passion. Look at the passion out of NJ. That's like a full-blooded one. Look at that. All the way to the back.
Get the original up. The original was so good. Yeah, no, the original is quote tweeted.
Oh, right, I'm tripping. Oh, yeah.
Brother, it's quote tweeted.
Yeah, okay, I'm tripping.
No, I swung too far, bro.
Benjay playing Venom is hilarious, by the way.
Oh no.
Alright. Just one team fight, we're good.
Benjay just ain't a Venom player, bro. He's like, Benjay's like a rocket.
And he's off. Look at him go,
Got the
man.
Warlock,
Oh.
Oh, I swung too far, bro.
Bro, he has the most flamboyant walk away of all time, doesn't he?
I didn't know Benji had that in him. I'm not gonna lie. Look at him go.
Bro, he spiked that motherfucker.
He actually spiked
Oh,
it.
I swung too far, bro.
Alright, one more.
Yeah, his shit is chalk.
Oh, what a man. Can't wait to see him again. That's my Benji. When Jay in the scene. Alright, Cloud9. After the Snake and drama concludes, they still choked them out 5. What's going on, Ace? I thought the gameplay issues were fixed.
Oh my god, bro. That was the worst ending. They had it in the bag. It was a 5-3. It was done. The map was over. It was GG's. And then every round, it just looked like they overthought how they were approaching the round. Like, they played flawlessly the rounds before. I saw Dylan attach was making call, like he was he was giving strats for sure because he was just like telling him. He was like, you could see it on the cams. He's like telling him what to do between rounds. I don't know what happened those last 3, but it was just an absolute fall apart. It looked like they just overthought everything. And yeah, they lost in a. It shows you how close this league is. Obviously, like how good people are, but like how close it is. But at the same time, I hate to say this, and Trey is gonna roast, and I'm ready for it. But C9 should have won this series, 100%. They just absolutely torched a 5-3 lead on a search, game 5.
Coulda, shoulda, woulda.
I live for these moments.
Steve is comedy for switching to his personal YouTube because he's already roasted me enough on the Breaking Point YouTube, so he had to switch to his own to cover it up. I like that, Steve. I like that.
I live for these moments. We've all seen the Jude Bellingham celebration where he's got his hands out like this and he's looking at the crowd, and that's me, the ace. Because guess what, ace? They lost the series.
I know,
They
man.
did lose the series.
I know, bro.
I was loving life.
And should they have won?
Yes.
But they didn't.
100 bajillion percent. Anyone that
Who was
watched
in
that series and saw that 5-3 knows that was such a choke, an absurdly bad choke.
Mac nearly iced up, though, I will say. Like, he actually could have won that. I thought he was going to win that. He played it really well. And
Yeah.
Mac's been okay, this series, he didn't have a crazy one. It was really the attached takeover, I thought, on the Map Force Skyline, which I was kind of happy to see. But in general, Mac has been cooking. I know he went 0-6 in the Game 2 search, but, like, most of the time, Mac's probably been their best player with Crump.
Mac is, okay, again, Mac is one of the best players in this game. Top 10. I would argue higher, but I don't want to get flamed too bad. He's top 10 players in this game, 100%. That's it. I know a lot of people were flaming them for picking him up after a year off, and they said Nero would have been a better pickup. But at the same time, he truly is one of the best players. Maybe him and maybe Mac and Nero could have been a crazy setup. Like those two together maybe could have been crazy. But yeah, the people got to give their flowers that this guy's been away for a year dealing with some real crazy family stuff and comes back like this. So I think this team's in a good spot. They just got to keep developing how they are. And I think they're in a good spot for Major 1.
I think that's where I give Mac the flowers too. I think my main concern was him just coming back after a year off and not being the Mac that we used to know. And, you know, he's outshining players that have been in the league for 5 years consistently. And it's commendable. So you get my flowers.
Yeah, agreed. I think the team is probably just getting better and better. I would like to see, though, Sib go positive in one series. Like, just give me one, just give me one. Meant to be a candidate. He had the gameplay issues. He was at a 0.7. He's now at a 0.8. We're making moves. Search and Destroy is back to a 1. Hardpoint and Controller at a 0.7 still. But he's gone from, look, pre-gameplay issue situation, 0.77, 0.75, 0.66. Post-resolution, 0.98, 0.94. So you got to think, Ace, the gameplay resolutions have bumped him about 0.2 KD. But I still want to see a little bit more.
To be fair, that's a lot. Okay, to be fair, a 0.2 bump is a lot. So I will say, like I said, I know I'm a ball knower. I'm telling you, it was in a gameplay issue, and the guy's just settling his feet back in right now. Like,
I think what's crazy is Sib is like one of the youngest players in the league.
Is he?
He's like 22.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure I just saw that on Breaking Point's website. Am I mistaken?
No, I think you might be right.
Old,
yeah,
no, that is his age, but him being one of the youngest is actually insane. One of the youngest, like top, yeah.
I think he is one of the youngest.
Probably like him, Gwen, Snoopy. Probably is probably that's probably the big three right there.
I think so.
Yeah, you're probably about right.
Which is crazy because like you look at, I feel like I've seen Sib for like so many years, but that's because I was there from like when he started like on the FaZe Academy team.
Yeah,
that's how me and Sib had like a decent friendship because like he used to roast everyone when he first came up, but he never roasted me. He actually liked me. So we used to like team each other up with like in money 10s back then because it was 5v5. That's what we used to like. Yeah, no, he's one of the youngest in the league. It's kind of crazy.
Brick Noah, not Ball Noah. Cooked.
Yeah, I'm not saying he's like third youngest. I'm just saying like 22 in this league's pretty young considering how long he's been here for. I feel like I've just seen him every single year now.
That's true. That's true.
It's the same for someone like, I mean, Tej is 25, but like Tej has been around for like well over
He's
a decade.
been around for more than a decade. bro. That guy's-
It's like half his
like
life he's been playing COD. Yeah.
Tej is like Unk.
And he's still looking good, and he's still taking down Sib. Map 5 Masterclass from Tej. Actually, it wasn't really, it was Gwyn to be fair. But over the course of the series, it was Tej who had a Masterclass. They moved on to the next rounds. And then the final series we're going to talk about from this bracket, of course, is Los Angeles Thieves. They went down a phase. And honestly, from like minute 1 of the first hardpoint, I could see no other result. Like, FaZe just came out swinging. Online, the Draza Scrappy matchup has been back and forth now for quite some time. It's on LAN where Scrappy really has his number. But this was not an especially competitive series. Apart from the control that was a reverse sweep in the control, but even this was 2-0 for FaZe. They could have closed it out with equally as dominant a 3-0 as Thieves nearly did to them when they played at the start of the season. But yeah, this time FaZe obviously playing very well after their result against the Heretics. I was also pretty impressed by FaZe's comms as well. Like, I think they've obviously been working quite hard on a few things. Celium, I mean, Abizi was a monster this whole tournament, really. Simp had his moments. Draza was good at times. This is the FaZe, exactly the FaZe that we expected to see. But yeah, I think for Thieves, lots of questions, really, on this team. They had a difficult period over the winter break. Nadeshot was talking about it, how due to visa stuff, Hydra had to go home a bit earlier than plans. He was a bit longer getting back than plans. They got back into scrims later than the other team's Thieves. I think they only started to practice about a week ago today, which was put them on the back foot to some extent. But at the end of the day, they lost. They started the season well. They played one series, and they're straight out of there. And it's a tournament setting. You're obviously not going to be happy about it, regardless of the circumstances. So, yeah, a Thieves washed up already. Super team over. Envoy 0.7. It's time to go.
I want to fill my narratives right now because I had a big cup of it early in the season, and I know some people were saying it's going to be different. But man, this Envoy guy kind of stinks, huh? This Envoy guy is a little bit... Trey was the #1 supporter of it, but this Envoy guy... His inconsistency is going to be the downfall of Thieves. And that, to me, is a reason where, again, I'm going to fuel narrative some more. The LA Thieves want to secure themselves this year and guarantee themselves winners. Winners of... They want to hold the trophy at the end of this year. There's one guy in Australia that you need to call. And if you got him, your team would be undeniable. Because right now, you still have a weak point. And yeah, people are gonna say you need a glue player and someone to do the dirty work. Yeah, shut up. You get Pred on your team and you complete this 4-man stack after Major 1 if you don't perform, let's say. And if, let's say, Envoy is inconsistent again, I think you make that call and you create a super team because you're gonna need one to beat FaZe. If FaZe keeps playing like this and keeps building on this foundation, hey, GG's rest of the league. You can't win with someone as inconsistent as Envoy is generally.
So that's what we're doing.
Go ahead, defend him. I know you were the #1 defender when I said the take originally.
They've had one bad series.
It's an important series, though. It's an important series.
For who?
Both of them.
I'm sure everything's A-okay, man. I'm sure they'll be fine.
It's an important series, my brother. It's an important series for FaZe's confidence, of course, which is that was a big point here. Definitely more important for FaZe. I think we could agree on that, right? Out of these two, what's more important for FaZe? Because they beat them, and now they feel like they can, they can beat them. But LAT, I think, again, for me, as I said before, it's the one thing about this team that makes them weak. It's their weak point. It's their one factor in this team that's the iffy. That scares me.
He's been dropping stinkers since last year. Well, define stinkers, because I've just seen a 1.16 versus a FaZe. He just had a stinker
Bring up
against.
the stats, Reb! Bring up the stats last year.
All right, we can
I
bring
would
it
love
up.
to see him.
You don't need to look at last year's stats. I said he wasn't a very good player last year.
Oh, what are you saying? Okay, for this season?
Yeah, yeah. He's not been bad at all.
He's had some, his first couple of series were excellent. Since then, not
He's
quite
teaming
as
with fucking
impactful.
Hydra and Scrap. Where the fuck are the kills at? He's had one bad. He's had one bad series this year so far. I'm sure they're gonna be all right.
Listen. I love Dylan. I love him, and again, all these people we talk about in this show are most of them generally are people we're acquaintances with, are friends. But he's got to lock in, going to the second stretch, the ending stretch of Major 1 into Major 1, because I think there is some realm. He probably knows it too, where he's the only player on that team in a sense that's like cuttable or switchable or tradable. You know what I'm trying to say? Everyone else is pretty hard stuck on that squad. And there's only and everything was locked up until there's now a player out there that's available that's better than you on paper. So if I'm Dylan, I'm locking up. I'm super locking in for this latter half of Major 1, because there's trouble on the horizon if you don't.
I think my take, from at least the perspective of why I wouldn't get rid of Envoy, is a little bit to do with his history with the team and the organization, and also as a player. Like, say what you want about Kenny's performances as well. There's no way you're getting rid of him from OpTic in your right mind with what he's achieved, the mentality, the understanding he brings to that organization. I'm a little bit worried, if I'm Nadeshot, about the level of commitment to the success that needs to happen from Scrappy and the way that it's going to look like from the other guys. We're going to talk about Nade versus Scrap in a second and some of the words that were exchanged. But Envoy's been on Thieves. He respects the organization an awful lot. He knows what it's like to be on a Thieves team that was winning championships, winning the World Championship a couple of years ago. He's the only piece of that team that's still around, of the Draza Kenny Octane team that won the World Championship. So Kenny knows what it takes, as does Envoy know what it takes, to be part of a Thieves organization and be part of a Thieves team that's going to win. And I think that experience is going to be invaluable to the team down the line, regardless of if his inconsistencies maintain going into the next season. And frankly, all I really care about is what happens when we go to LAN. Then I can make a better judgment.
Yeah, 100%. But I still want to nail down the point of saying that's all sure and dandy, but the only player that's better than you and has accolades wise pretty much what you have is on the market right now. So don't fuck it up.
I mean, how on the market actually is Pred? Like, that's my question. You know, because Yoda King, he's on the market. It's pretty straightforward. Like, Yoda King's out there, he's streaming, he's playing Chows.
I think Pred says he's on the. I think Pred says he's on the market, but I don't know how on the market that is. Listen.
I know that people are gonna be like tripping out and all that, but I'm saying, like, yeah, very much so. If I'm him or OpTic or whatever, I'm probably seeking to pull him back that way. You know, like, most likely that's I'm saying that might happen that way, but I'm just keeping in mind that there is lingering, and I said this for FaZe too, so I don't think this is a new take. Anyone that's maybe new here, this is not a new take. I said if FaZe kept playing badly and poorly too, that there is a guy sitting out that's qualified to be on their team, that's to the talent level. Because a lot of the arguments for FaZe is like, who else would you get? Who is the replacement? Who could fit? Who's a better option out there? This is the first time in a long time that you have somebody with that quality level of talent that's like of just sitting there. So again, I do believe that if OpTic underperform, he's still going to be, don't OpTic fans, don't trip out on me. He's still going to be around. You'll still have, he's still there. But let's say OpTic performs really well and Thieves performs badly. I honestly see it in the realm of possibility. I wouldn't put anything beyond any of these CDL teams when it comes to winning. Like, yeah, there's culture, this and that. Beyond Gentlemates and Hydra, maybe, or excuse me, Gentlemates and Lins, maybe. Everyone else is disposable when it comes to making the best team to win. Because this team got formed because it's the best team formed to win. So why would they stop doing that just because, Envoy's won a piece with us before? I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm buying that.
Let's talk about this Nadeshot versus Scrappy situation. So they lost the series. Nadeshot then decided he was going to take to the timeline. He was going to do his best Shotzzy impression again, this is what the point I was making earlier in the show or in the pre-show or whatever. Like, COD might not be in the best spot. Game's a bit of a mess. The state of the CDL isn't the best. But wow, do we still got clout in this scene. Like, Nadeshot's putting out a tweet on a minor tournament and he's pulling in 50,000 likes. Like, you know, this scene is still popping off when it comes to drama. There's no doubt about that. Like, you look at other esports that have more viewers, that are much better esports. They don't pull what we pull when it comes to social media. So, yeah, here's Nadeshot. I don't want to see our guys log off the game until the first major. Clearly, the foot was taken off the gas pedal over the break. Figure it out at LA Thieves. And then he's like, look, those guys can't be happy losing. I'm mad at it. They should be mad as well. Obviously, don't expect them to win every match. We've got to act like we should and want to win every game. Not hard to understand. Now, it's a very interesting one, right? Because, look, if I'm a player on Thieves, I've just lost. I'm pissed off. I'm taken to the timeline and I see my boss calling me out publicly. Maybe he should be the guy supporting me. That might be one argument. But also, that's a weak-ass bitch mentality as far as I'm concerned. Like, you know, you got to lock in. Like, this guy has done everything, Nadeshot, to make this work for your team. He's taken what we believe to be a $200,000 pay cut to make this happen. Gentlemates came in with a mega offer for these guys. He decided to say no and put the money on the table to get those guys to Texas, pay the salaries they wanted, do everything they needed. But a Nadeshot deserves everything that those guys could potentially give to him. And I know that Nadeshot wants to make sure that he's the best possible boss to his players, but equally, you know, there should be nothing but respect from those guys to Nadeshot. And I think there is from Envoy, from Ghosty, and seemingly from Hydra. At times, the dynamic with Scrappy is interesting because Scrappy saw this tweet and he messaged Nadeshot in private, and apparently he was not happy about this tweet. And Nadeshot shut that down very quickly, according to his own words on stream. So I wanted to share that, and then I'll get your guys' take, because then Scrappy actually continued a bit of a rampage on this. I'm not going to share this whole clip, but I'm going to share the crux of it.
Is that I expect the best out of these boys, no matter how big or small the match actually is. And I texted him, bro, because Scrap had words for me via text, and I shut that shit down right away. I'm like, hey, listen, Ernie, I love you to death. My wife and I, we had you over to the house. I know you're a good kid. You know, people like to get on Scrap's ass because of all the shit he's been talking and kind of just like his aura and his presence and his attitude. But I'm telling you, bro, that kid Thomas, a.k.a. Ernie, a.k.a. Scrappy, is like a super, super nice kid. Came into the house, like, asked my...
So that was kind of the bottom line. I mean, he also went on to say how... He mentioned the Hydra situation, they went back to France, they came back again. So I think Scrappy's point of view is that, well, it ain't really our fault. We were grinding the game, but Hydra wasn't here, so we couldn't put in the time or whatever. But also, there were times when Scrappy was hopping on playing Rocket League and, you know, playing Marvel Rivals and stuff like this. And look, if you're still playing enough COD, I don't think there's necessarily any problem with that. But I think there's been a feeling...
Nah, Abe's been chilling with me on GTA.
There we go. I'll pass over the
Abe flies in. Abe flies GTA late night. He's not there for hours on end. You know, he comes in for a bit of fun to de-stress after a long day of COD. Goes to sleep early. Hits the fucking gym in the morning. COD all day. His girl plays GTA too, so we all have a laugh in there. And you know, that's what it's all about. It's about having fun and de-stressing after a long day. I think with Scrap, end of the day, Scrap's an employee of Nadeshot. Nadeshot's his boss. If your boss demands more, you can't really say anything else. He's paying you the big bucks. You're there to do work. If your boss says, sort it out, you go and sort it out. I did think it was funny. Dashi replied with a few crying with laughing faces. Nadeshot replied back to Dashi, no more blinkers.
Yeah.
Someone replied to him saying, certainly no more blinkers. Ernie playing like God RX. Now, I'm not saying it was true or anything like that, but I think COD Twitter or COD social media is unmatched. I really do. I don't think there's a better esport than COD when it comes to Twitter, social interactions. It's by far the most funniest.
It is.
But if we're talking on a serious level, Nadeshot is his boss. If he demands more, he demands more. You just got to suck it up, buttercup. Get back to the fucking grind. We'll see you at Major 1. And that's just all it is.
Yeah, on a just more like general level, my whole thing is like, you know, Nade is a personality, you know? Like, He's gonna have commentary on things. It's not a typical situation between you and your employer or you and your boss. Nade's an outspoken guy. He's on stream. People are gonna ask him. He's gonna talk about it. He's gonna put it out there. I like to say, like, it's almost like an expectation. It's almost when players don't make content, for example, or don't want to do content, you're kind of trolling. You're kind of like, are you not expecting that this is part of what you should do or want to do? The same sense, you're part of 100T. It's a big content org. Your boss is a huge content creator with a big voice in this scene. If you're getting butthurt about what he's putting on the TL, get over it, dog. That's his role. That's his job. His job is to talk about his org, get the clicks, be the boss man, have the voice. Tough luck. Tough shit. It's what you signed up for when you signed up to play for 100T. Or
Let's
LAT,
be honest.
excuse me.
Let's be honest, Ace. If Rab told me and you we were doing shit, we'd sort it out.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Again, if Rab wanted TL and said, like, dope check got to step it up. We've been lacking the last couple of weeks. Yeah, we might have a conversation off air, but like, yeah, it is what it is. He said it. He said it's this way.
I'm gonna text him and be like, "All right, what's the issues then, twin?" He's gonna be like, "Well, you don't wake up till the show starts." I'm like, "All right, my bad, bro. Let me sort it out. 8 a.m. wake up calls." But I think we'll do. I think we have a pretty success.
No, we do a good job on this show, but also I guess like. As far, no.
They're ready for it, Trey. They're ready for it.
I'm comparing it to the Nade situation. I'm saying, like, I'm the biggest fan of the show, right? Like, we run the show, but also we're the biggest fan of the show. We make content we think is good, and hopefully people will think it's good as well. Nadeshot is the biggest fan of the team. There's no bigger fan of 100T than Nadeshot himself. So he feels all the emotions that a fan of the team feels, and if he's feeling a certain way, he knows for a fact a lot of the fans are feeling that certain way as well. And obviously that matters to him because they're fans of his org at the end of the day. So I wanted to share one more clip. You can go on, Trey, and I'll share the clip.
No, I was going to say, I think that's the best way of looking at it. Like, he is the biggest fan, and if he feels some type of way about it, like every other fan does, he's going to speak about it.
Yeah.
Just like someone else. I've always said this, you should not give a flying fuck about what anyone says about your gameplay or how you're doing, because you should know yourself. Be it your boss or just some fans. You know, I see people going, like, I said it last year, you know, when Sib was going, like, talking crazy to fans and stuff like that because they were commenting on his gameplay. Close down social media. It don't control your life. You don't get paid from it. It's not the reason why you make the big bucks. You make the big bucks, you do your gameplay. And I'm not speaking about Scratch gameplay. This goes to all the pros. You shouldn't give a flying fuck about what the plumber Daniel fucking Whizbang says at the goddamn motherfucking, you know, in Birmingham. Like, it don't matter. It really don't. A lot of pros care about what other people say about them when it should not affect them one bit, and it actually does affect their gameplay and stuff like that. It's you know, get off social media.
Yeah, well put. I'm going to share what Scrappy has to say here because it doesn't seem like he's backing down. Now, I know this is obviously on-stream Scrap. Obviously, people have a personality. His comments to Nadeshot behind the scenes might be slightly different to this. But basically, Scrap says this guy's an idiot. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Wait, are you in a pub because of, like, actually, no.
What?
Nade was going rogue, bro.
Yeah, that guy's another word I can't say. Fucking idiot, man. But no, I hopped on Rocket League. We're gonna go home.
That's what we call a hellstorm.
I think we're losing because I'm not on the fucking game. Like, I play the game 10 hours a day. What the fuck you talking about?
You need to play 14.
That guy's actually hilarious, bro.
Yo, I was crying when I saw Nate tweet that. All I can think about, I don't even care about the rest of your team's reaction. I just care about your reaction. Like, like when Paco probably don't use Twitter like that. You probably, I don't know really. Dill, you don't really like. You don't really take it serious.
Yeah.
Dan is probably just like getting another J.
So I think what I'd say to this Scrap situation is, like, Scrap's had a lot of gas over the last couple of years. He comes into the league on Toronto. It's all looking up. He's potentially in the conversation to join OpTic. That potentially going to happen this season. Becoming one of the faces of the league, one of the highest paid players in the league. I wouldn't say precisely irreplaceable, but difficult if Scrap was to step away to find someone who could actually take his spot from a personality and from a gunny perspective. But how much has he actually won? He's won 2 tournaments in his entire career. if you look at the all-time COD rankings, I was saying this in my video today, Nadeshot's significantly above him. Nadeshot won way more tournaments. Nadeshot did more for the scene. So Scrap, I'm sure he understands this, but all of these players that have made a name for themselves but have not actually won that much yet, they've got to look themselves in the mirror and say, okay, what do I actually want out of my career? Because I've got all this potential on the table here, and I don't think Scrappy should be, happy with any loss, any defeat, any tournament that this Thieves team goes to and they don't win. They should come away mad about it. They should be looking at the 6 tournaments they're going to play this year and thinking we need at least 4 of them. And if they don't, then I think they'll feel like they've, lacked some potential unless some of the other teams really deliver. Scrap spent the last couple of years in the league, getting close to a ring, not getting it. This year he's got to get to that point, right? Because otherwise, Scrap might fall into the category of the players that Shotzzy's talking about. The guys that, they're balling, they're getting a nice paycheck, but are they giving their all to cement their legacy?
I'm going to let Trey take this one.
I mean, listen, he's unbelievable. We all know that.
My only thing I'll say is he is irreplaceable. Let me just be.
I think he's irreplaceable on a gameplay aspect for sure. Do I think he needs to do more? He streams. He does this, he does that. I'm still, tier 1 instigating, wondering what the word you want to call nature, I would love to know what word
that's
that
your
was.
boss.
I would love to know, yeah, I'd love to know. That's the boss. But listen, I think you got to look at Shotzzy, take with a grain of, not Shotzzy, Scrappy, take it with a grain of salt when it comes down to even, the way he speaks to pros and stuff like that. He's got a good mentality when it comes down to gaming and playing the game, but I think he has a bad mentality of when someone speaks bad about him. Now, that might just be me just saying it, just because of the nature thing, but I think he takes the opinions of people a bit too crazy when he should just, he's Scrappy. He's better than the people that are talking shit about him. Do I think he's better than Nadeshot was when, Nadeshot competed? Gunny-wise, yeah, probably, but, Nadeshot's a serial winner. And I think there's no better person you should take advice from or something like that than Nadeshot when it comes down to it. You look back when Nadeshot played, he was just COD. And I'm not saying, don't play any other games. I'm just saying, Nadeshot's saying it. Anything Nadeshot says, he's saying it to out of his best interest for you. So that's all I got to say about it.
My only thing is that I think we're underwhelming how good he is. He is irreplaceable, personality-wise, presence-wise, and gameplay-wise. And, he's only been a pro for, 2 years? 3 years? 2 years? 2 years?
Yeah, rookie season
he's had
end up 2.
Yeah, 2 years ago. He's had a pretty successful 2 years, to be fair. On a pretty good roster, yeah, but a lot of rosters are good in COD. You have FaZe, you have OpTic, you have great teams out here. I actually would disagree with the take that he hasn't done that well. So that's just one clear-cut thing. I think he is irreplaceable.
He's done exceptionally well. I think Rab's just saying he needs to win a ring.
I'm saying,
but
if you want to be remembered in 10, 15 years,
True.
Yeah, but I feel like Scrappy could retire now and everyone would remember Scrappy.
Yeah, I'm just talking if you're that talented, you got to look at the all-time list and say I'm trying to surpass. I don't know. That's how I think.
I'm just looking at this thing as Nadeshot's a serial winner. He's your boss. He only wants the best for you. Anything he says is constructive criticism. And the same way that could be taken by some fans. I think some fans are just outrageously fucking moronic, to be honest with you. But there's some people that constructive criticism is good from, and I think Nadeshot would be one of them.
He's not trying to attack Scrap, right? He wants the best,
I mean, he's talking about the team. He didn't at Scrap in particular.
Yeah, exactly. And also, if I'm Scrap,
maybe he's talking about Scrap about the blinkers.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I would say, too, is that these two guys, obviously, even before he joined the team and such, have a personal relationship as well. So however they decide to interact with each other, which is clearly very trolly and very sarcastic, how they just chat shit to each other. Yeah, that's nowhere for us to be oh, boss this, boss that. Scrap has his role. Nadeshot is a big, the voice. I think that point you made of him being the voice of the fans, the voice of the org, the voice, just he's the head speakerphone of that is exactly what it is. No one should be taking it personally, and yeah, bro, they're friends outside of this too. So it is a little bit of a weird. Yeah. That's a little bit weird of relationship, I guess, because he's your boss and your friend. But end of the day, Scrap is not the issue on this team, nor do I think at any point will he be the issue on Thieves at all.
I think that's. I've always seen it like weird in COD when it's like, because your boss, like let's say Nadeshot for example, he's your boss in that aspect. But you got to understand as well, like Nadeshot's still young. He used to be a professional player. Of course, he's going to be friends with you. It's not like he's some 75-year-old like running a multi-billion-dollar business where like you're hired to sit at your desk and just never speak to him. Like esports is weird when it's things like that.
That's one of the benefits that's one of the benefits of being on an org like that.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's what I'm saying. That's constructive criticism from like a guy that's been there and done it.
Yeah, it's you're not hearing it. You're not like tuning out this guy. You actually want to listen to him. You want his experience. He's relatable to you, and I guess that's one of the best parts about Thieves in general. So again, regardless how some people feel, like we've talked about before, with a lot of topics, especially today, there's been a lot of drama in the last few weeks or so. But COD is so quick to jump to a conclusion. It's so bipolar of how they think about it's either this or that. There's a lot of subtlety to this, man. Like, don't think no one's getting disrespected. It's not that big of a drama. It's not that serious. I promise.
I just saw someone say 30 ain't young. I think 30 is pretty young to be a multi-million-dollar business owner.
In the grand context of life, it's hell yeah.
Dude said 38 young? Yo, when you're 30, I can't wait. I can't wait till you're hitting 28, 29, and you're going to be like, wow, 30 is kind of young. Holy hell.
I'm 27. I say I'm old, but like, I'm in my prime right now. So I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like bro's tripping. Yeah. Like, yeah, I know when I was like in my teens too. Yeah, it seemed like old, but nah, you're tripping, bro. It's this is no big deal. They're cool. I feel like this is all gonna work out.
No, I think you're making
Scrap and Aiden are sticking together, and there's no real issue here.
No. You said one shit 30, the balls start dropping and shit. Yeah, you're right, twin. You got
it. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, you might be right. You might be cooking. I ain't gonna.
I might be over for me in 5 years.
My balls just be dragging across the floor when I hit 30 and shit, man.
Oh Lord,
it's so over.
That's how you determine if you're old or not. When your balls start dragging along the floor.
I'm not commenting on that.
The show is going off the rails, man.
Yeah, the show's back on. Right, final thing I'm going to say on this.
That's why people like us.
We've had a sensational show today. I think the final
thing. Pick your balls back up and let's get it back on the rails, okay?
I'm rolling them up now.
Roll it back up. Roll it back up, and let's keep it going.
If you're Scrap, you didn't necessarily need to approach it this way. Like, would it have been that hard to text Nate and be like, yo, like, yeah, tough day today, but don't worry, like, you know, we got this type thing, rather than saying,
yeah, but that's
Nate,
not Scrap, though.
I know you don't behave like that. I know. And
that's
okay.
not Scrap.
No, I guess it's okay.
Scrap would put his stream title, fuck Nadeshot, or something like that.
It was a bit of drama in the Valorant world last year with Nadeshot and this Valorant player called Boostio. So he won the world championship, this guy, a couple of years back. He joined 100T last year, and 100T had the team on a pretty tough content schedule. So they were having to get up at like 7 in the morning in order to get to the facility, get the content in before their scrims would start. Not every day, but on occasion. And Boostio like went on a rant on stream about how terrible this was and how like he couldn't believe the organization was putting them through this and it was affecting their practice and all this stuff. And then like Nade and him had to kind of like work it out behind the scenes because it got kind of awkward. Like the IGL of your team, one of the big guys you've just signed to take your team to the next level, and the team was doing well at the time. It's basically calling out your whole org and the management style. But again, what was interesting about that to me was that Boostio could have easily had words about this behind the scenes, discussed it with the team and said like, look, we think this is a better approach to make sure we can balance everything better rather than everything just publicly hidden in the timeline, right? But like I'm down for the latter because it's more drama. So I'm just saying it's not the first time in the last like 8 months where a star player and Nadeshot have come to blows on an issue. So
Viper said Boostio didn't like waking up in the morning for content.
Yeah, well, exactly. Like I've got no sympathy. Like you're paid to do a job. Like wake up and do your job.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's not rocket science.
I've said. I think pro players in any esports are the biggest divas of all time.
It's insane.
How are you gonna get paid like 6 figures and go, oh, I don't like waking up and being in front of a camera. Shut up. You signed a contract. Get on with it.
Yeah.
Stop your crying.
That's what I'm saying. Stop crying. Put the work in. That's what it's all about. That's what Shotzy's been saying.
They're the biggest load of pansies I've ever. No,
It's free cash, and you're gonna sit and like, no, I was on Tinder swiping until 6 a.m. and now I gotta wake up for shut up.
Trey's exposing himself right now. The shit, you know.
I don't do Tinder.
Typical man. Typical man. But yeah, no,
I'm locked into my dough.
locked in on the cash right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, this is not a real thing. This is not a thing unless it continues and then we see some big blow up. But I'm all for the drama, for the show, for Tack Grab's pockets, and for the Breaking Point pockets, for all of them.
Yeah, well put. All right, we've got 4 final teams left in the tournament as it's been going so far. And that leaves us with a couple of series left to discuss. Rocket played FaZe. I don't know if we want to talk on this one too much. Obviously, we've discussed both of these teams in a bit of length over the last 2.5 hours of this show. Rocket, though, again, they put up a fight. I will say it's this control for FaZe that is surprisingly weak for them, especially because Simp has been like so good at control for like his entire career. Whereas a lot of FaZe's control play has been, they lose a lot of 3-2 vaults. So I'll just put it that way. The scary thing, I guess, for the league is that if they figure it out, like it might be over.
I think it's map pool too. Realistically, we're only playing one control map.
Yeah, they do love playing Vault, but they just keep losing it.
Yeah, that's my point. It's
a big thing here. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, once they do figure out, it is scary. But like, I'm telling you, like, the map pool right now is horrible. Horrible. We started off the tournament with a double Hassie, triple protocol. I wanted to throw up.
Yeah. The map pool is definitely a problem here, but on the flip side of this, FaZe is a team that clearly is, you know, they started the year out slow. We can see that, but they catch up quick. That level of talent is not one that's going to lag behind for too long. So they're watching back people's VODs. They're taking, you know, they're looking at what they need to look at. I think their control is going to be. They've probably been focusing on their hard points and their searches. Just it's a matter of time. Honestly, like with FaZe, to me, is a team that. It's only a matter of time every single time. The control is bad right now. By the time they get to Major 1, all of a sudden they're going to look like the best control team. Another prediction for them.
Yeah, and they clutch him in the search and destroy as well. It's pretty crucial, right? Like, obviously, Tupac, he was talking a bit of trash. Tupac Thug Lords, the greatest gamer tag in the history of COD until Yoda King came along a couple hours ago. But Tupac was talking his trash on stream the other week. He was kind of saying, look, they dropped me for budget reasons, and now this is what's happening, right? But at the end of the day, it's not like their search has been spectacular, but they still won the games they needed to win. They get the 6-2 dub on the protocol. They knock out Minnesota Rocket. They don't make it to the grand finals. And the other series that I was very satisfied to see in many respects was this one. Like, I thought it was a great combination of a number of storylines, really. OpTic playing Ravens in this way. Would I have liked the OpTic Thieves or the OpTic FaZe final? Sorry, absolutely. But equally, this was a real, as I say, culmination of events, right? We had Shotzzy going rogue all week, calling out certain teams. Shotzy's not been a big fan of Ravens at all, the way that they play the game, the way that they practice. He feels like they get fake practice against Ravens because they play differently in scrims to what they do in the real games. So Shotzzy was calling them out there. He was slamming so many players all week in terms of the fact that he's only going to respect the top teams. His record against Slasher was 14-0 all time. And then he comes into the weekend as a pretty poor weekend. Shotzzy in general, a pretty good series here, to be fair, but it really was just the game 1 and then the game 3 where OpTic dominated from a slaying perspective. But, you know, really this series just came down to the search and destroy. And the reason why, obviously, I kind of enjoyed this result was because there were so many people last week after we literally predicted this on the show, telling us that this was the most faded take ever. There was zero chance in a million years that OpTic were ever going to beat the Ravens. And that's exactly what happened in Game 5, as we predicted. So, you know, ball knowers up top, Ravens into the finals.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are telling me, oh, Slasher won't beat Shotzzy easy, 0-14. Suck my dong. How about that? How about that? Because guess what? He done it. I don't know. I don't know why Shotzzy has so much hate for Ravens.
He hates them, right? Says they're like a fake for an OT or something.
I mean, listen, I respect it. Hey, Shotzzy,
I love it.
You're
Like,
doing
yeah.
me justice. You're
Yeah,
doing
don't
me
stop,
justice
man.
right now. You're doing me justice right now. You didn't do me justice this map though, because I think Gwyn's like 10 series away from beating my all-time Royal
Yeah,
Ravens
it's
record.
9,
and
I
you-
think. It's 9 series.
9. You see, Shotzzy, you took all this smack, and you don't even beat him. And
We've
you go on
got
stream
another
after,
like 2-3 months, and that's gonna
and
be
you go
it.
on stream after, and double down on it, saying they're dog shit. I need to see you win, twin.
One big shock to me with how he speaks on them is with someone like Slasher on that team. I don't know how or what he's referring to. Like their practice is weird, because people like, you know, the accuracy Slasher, even Clay, for example. These guys usually run kind of structured practices, and they're pretty. From what I know, you can ask other pros as well. You can ask Trey even. Like they're very like keen on practice being organized and strategic. So to say that a team, I'm gonna assume, is led by Austin here, is kind of lollygagging or BSing in practice is a little bit of a shock to me. I would take that a little surprising.
Austin wouldn't do that, and I'm surprised Austin hasn't called him out on his bullshit. But I know Austin don't really deal with drama like that.
Not these days.
He used to, for sure.
Yeah.
But, like,
Not
I
these
think
days.
I think he's just in his own bag right now. He probably laughs at it. You know,
I mean,
Shotzzy was also shooting their bodies map too.
Yeah, when you beat
Yeah, there
them
was
too,
loads
do you
of
have
that.
to say that much though? When you actually win the series, you don't have to say that much back.
Nah, your gameplay does the talking.
Yeah, you let the
I don't know why he
happen on
hates
the
him. I don't know
server.
why he hates him so much.
Yeah, but that's the one thing that's a little shocking to me, that he mentioned the practice specifically. With like that was a little bit weird to me. So
If
I
you
might
think
have
their
to
practice is
slide
bad,
to Austin
like,
really quick.
you know, OpTic can just not scrim them. You know, like you are. If you don't think you match up well against them in scrims, you're not learning much. Like, you are allowed just to say, all right, we don't think it's worth scrimming you guys. We're not going to scrim you. But they seem to still be scrimming them and then continually getting annoyed when they scrim them. But like, if you're going into a scrim expecting it to be a weird scrim because of the way that they play, then are you really going to get the best practice anyway? I'm just, yeah, the situation confuses me a bit why Shotzzy's going so right. I'm absolutely not complaining at all. But go on.
I'll say maybe, Rab, maybe Carolina just play the game a way no one's figured out yet. Maybe they're the better team. They just don't. OpTic just doesn't know how to play the game.
Certainly the better team in Search and Destroy.
To Carolina's
I mean,
advanced strategy. Maybe that's what's happening, guys.
I didn't even spot the Brian Saints in the background.
Shotzzy fucking hates these guys. Shooting bodies, calling them dog shit, doubling down on the dog shit after just losing to him in a series. Like, maybe Shotzzy needs to stop playing these guys. I think like Shotzi's got like a dartboard or something, and he's got to slash his head. And left, right,
I mean, look, it could be a Vickle versus Pred situation where, you know, for the rest of the year, you know what happened last January, Heretics beat OpTic, and for the rest of the year, Pred made sure that was never going to happen again. I mean, it could be another situation here. TJ got his win against FaZe, and then shortly after that, obviously got slammed in the finals yesterday. So maybe it's like Slash is going to get his one win against Shotzzy and it's going to go back to normal service resumes. But yeah, I thought it was just very interesting the way this worked out. I know that there were some OpTic fans obviously looking at Hook and saying that, well, like even in this series, he had a great series. I mean, certainly the map 1 Skyline, Hook was a monster, 35 and 16. Apart from that, it wasn't quite so good. Again, it was Kenny's Search and Destroy that was a question. But look, Hook's come in and they've been great in Search and Destroy OpTic in general. They won their previous 7 searches before this series. But to be fair, they come up against a team, maybe the best search team in the game right now. I mean, they're top of the league, so it's difficult to argue with that. And I think with Ravens, what you watch when you watch them play, and it should be no surprise on a team with Slasher and TJ, that they just don't make many mistakes. Like, in a 2v1 or in a 3v2, or certainly in something like a 3v1, very disciplined, they will close out those rounds at a very high percentage. And obviously they've got good strats and they have good mid-rounding understanding, but you know, there's rounds on the Hacienda, for example, that OpTic will look back at and they'll think, yeah, we probably should have won that. There's very few rounds that happens to Ravens. If they have an advantage, they're very good at capitalizing on it. And I think that was the difference maker, certainly on the map 2 here. And like Kenny went 2 in 9 map 2, and he went 4 in 9 map 5. So that search and destroy weakness for Kenny online is still a talking point. And it's probably going to be a talking point until about Major 4, when Kenny will magically figure it out, and then they'll be good at jams.
Yeah, I mean, it's... Oh, go ahead, Trey.
I was going to say, Designer said, like, oh, even Kenny said they don't try and, like, Ravens don't try and scrims. I think it should not be up to anyone else if they're trying in scrims or not, apart from the team that's actually the team scrimming. How do you know they're not trying in scrims? Just because they don't look like they're trying against you? Maybe they're maybe they, like you said, maybe they found a way to play where it's not the same as everyone else, and maybe that's why they think they're not trying. I don't think anyone else should say they're not trying in scrims other than the team, and maybe that comes out in the future that, oh shit, our practice was bad. But I don't think it should be up to anyone else other than Ravens if they say they're trying in scrims or not. Maybe they just have a different way of playing than everyone else, and it's clearly working.
Yeah, I'm of that mentality as well. There was, I forgot exactly which team it was, but I remember speaking to a few players back then that there was a team that they played early on in the game that they played. They're like, oh, they play weird. It was, they kept saying they played weird. Then tournament time and such, they were beating them, and then they copied them after. They were copying the strats after. I can't remember which game. I'm trying to remember exactly who it was, but if it kicks in, it kicks in. But this could be a case where maybe Carolina's just figured out something that other teams haven't so far. It's clearly working for them.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like Reaper put in the chat, I mean, OpTic wants the best practice, and they feel like they're wasting their time. But Ravens are unbeaten in league matches. They've only lost in a final versus FaZe, and they just beat OpTic. So, you know what I'm saying? How is that up to anyone else to decide whether they're wasting their time or not when they're doing this well?
No, I think you're bang on the money. I just wanted to bring up some comments here. This was when we made our predictions. Look, I'm not saying our bracket was perfect. The bottom side weren't the best. Obviously, we had Thieves making the run rather than FaZe. But the top side of the bracket was bang on the money. We got basically everything right. And this is what was being posted on the Reddit. So I thought we'd just have a quick look at some of these comments. I cannot guarantee, or I'm not trying to clown these people, like, you know, it's just all fun and games, right? But like, you know, maybe we are trying to clown these people, whatever. This guy says, I can't guarantee OpTic won't lose early to Falcons Boston, but I can guarantee OpTic will not lose to Carolina. Shotzzy effing run slasher, never lost, and without protocol, Carolina cannot beat OpTic in any map on scrims. So, you know, how did that one age? Pretty good.
Thank you for the $2, by the way. But go
Pretty
ahead.
good.
Trey, you can start it.
Nah, I don't want to start this one.
I don't want to start either.
I don't want to.
All right, I got another one. I guarantee Ravens won't be in the finals. They're getting hella overrated. If teams start banning protocol against them as they should, I expect them to drop off. But okay, sure, they're pretty good at protocol. OpTic did play them in a map 5 protocol, which they lost. But look, I have an interesting opinion on Ravens. I don't think that they will be able to... I mean, right now they're top of the league. And they were the second in this tournament. They've beaten everyone in matches recently. I don't think they'll be able to maintain being in this position. I think, like, as the season goes on, they're not going to be first. They're not going to be seconds. But I still think they can be good. I've still got my questions on this team when it comes to LAN. I wasn't convinced about making them make this run, because at the end of the day, they nearly lost to Cloud9. That was a very close series. Cloud9 possibly should have beaten them in it. So I don't think it's clear cut, but I do think that against basically every team, they will have a chance to beat them.
I like you admitting that they should have beat them. I like that out of you. But I will say that...
But they didn't.
I am not... I don't know if I back your beef in the sense that they fall off. Not only have they kind of put themselves points-wise, in a pretty good spot early on. So I think they're always going to be, for the minors and such, in a good position generally. Like for the minors, for the majors, they'll be in a good position. For champs, I think still too far away for now. But the team is balanced, man. That team is a really good balanced squad of guys who individually would be on any roster and be a valuable asset. You put them together, and I think it's the perfect flow, perfect balance, perfect amount of like grinders on one team that honestly will stay in the top. Stay in the top. I think they're gonna be a top 4 team by the end of the year. I think we're gonna see them in that 4th slot. I said C9. You guys are saying Toronto. I actually think Carolina is gonna be the one now that's gonna shock us and remain in that top 4 conversation and be the dark horse.
Too early on for me to decide right now.
Sure.
You know, it could be a good purple patch. They could be the real deal.
A purple
I don't
patch.
know.
Never heard that before. First time I ever heard that in my life.
It is a purple patch, right? Isn't it, Rab? That's the saying.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
That's some
Not
UK.
exactly sure
That's
where
some
it
UK
comes from,
lad
but
stock.
yeah.
I never heard of a purple patch.
But, you know, I think I will decide after Major 1. Because we still got to wait to see if Gwyn is that. Gwyn's still the same Gwyn from last year on LAN, or he's that fucking guy. Because I believe he's that guy, but LAN might be his fault where, you know, he could feel like he has to do too much or he gets a bit nervous or something like that. So when LAN happens, that's when I'm locked in.
Vivid always
That's
seems
true.
to find a way to be part of these teams that are like more competitive than you think they'll be. Like Vivid keeps getting dropped, but like if you actually look at his resume, the teams that he's played with, I know that not everyone's been great, but like he always seems to find himself onto a situation where there's a bit of promise there, there's a bit of potential there. So yeah, I'm excited for the future of those guys. Obviously, we're just gonna clown a couple of people while we get the chance. With Ravens taking down OpTic. And then, of course, we had the grand finals, right? Like, a series that in the end was probably... it could have been better, right? I mean, FaZe pretty much just slammed them, which is what usually happens when the Tiny Terrors play TJ. And TJ had probably his worst series of the year, to be fair. The crucial map really was game 2. Like, this protocol search, because if Ravens win the protocol search, it's a very, very different series. That would have guaranteed a map 5 vaults, and this is map 5 for all the bread. No best of 7 here. Like this is just a straight up map 5. And I mean, I think Ravens would have been favored in a map 5 vault search and destroy. They've been favored in any search and destroy. So this was the crucial map.
I will say this: I think if Ravens don't win the second S&D in their series, it could get a bit shaky because they're a solid S&D team. But a team like FaZe, I feel like it might just run your shit on respawns. Yeah. And if you don't win that S&D, you know, it could look a bit shaky.
Yeah, that's going to be this team's like bread and butter. It's going to be winning S&Ds. It's going to be outclassing everybody in S&D as this year goes on. But if they start to slip up there or fall back in that dominance, that's where they're going to start to be in a big... If they start to just like get caught up and people start learning their strats, then this team is going to be ass.
And that's why I'm saying, like, I know they beat FaZe earlier on 3-0, but I think FaZe have got better. I spoke to Abizi yesterday whilst we were playing GTA. I was like, yeah, you guys look good. He was like, yeah, we had a rough patch. We know it. We just started having more fun. And I think when you start seeing Abizi and Simp and all that laughing, I think like, oh shit, we might be in for a terrible time.
Yeah, that's a dangerous team right there when they're like just chilling.
Yeah, I'm still on board with the Ravens love trade though. You know, I do like this team. I just think S&D is their bread and butter, like you said, Ace. And if they don't win that second S&D, like that's when things can get scary.
For sure.
I think it is interesting though that, like, it's very impressive to me that the Ravens have made it to the finals here, including beating OpTic, and could have won the whole thing, with their hardpoint being terrible. Now, I think they've also got to recognize the fact that what Shotzzy's saying about how in scrims they're getting slammed in hardpoints, like, scrims obviously do mean something, because this weekend, Ravens got slammed in hardpoints, but they still made the finals. Like, if you look at the series that they played, they won 1 hardpoint. They lost 2 very close ones to Cloud9, to be fair, both very close. They got slammed by OpTic on the Skyline. They won a very, very tight red card, not OpTic's best map at all. And then both hardpoints against FaZe, they got slammed as well. But they're still in the finals. So, you know, it's a positive and a negative, right? Because Ravens are very effective at getting the distance in series. And if their respawn just got like if their hardpoint got a bit better, if Ravens could get to winning 40 to 45% of hardpoints against the top teams, like the hypothetical other top teams, they can win an event this year at that point because their search and destroy is good enough. If they're winning 30% or less of hard points against the FaZes, the Thieves, the OpTics of the world, then they got no chance they're going to lose in 4. So many series.
And Ravens are good at control too, but they only play Volt.
That is true, actually.
They've not played any other control.
It's actually true. They've
So,
not played anything.
Are they in like a situation? Because their hard point doesn't look great. It's 7-6. Still positive, but 7-6. You know, it's a toss-up. Nearly 50-50 if they win that or lose that. S&D, 7-3. We know they're a good S&D team. Control, 5-2. If someone bans Volt and we see them on Volt, see them on a different map other than Volt, could that be another issue? That's like a future thing we'll have to see.
Yeah, it's a good point. We literally have no idea. They played 7 Volts and won 5, lost 2. In 7 series.
It's so early on in the season where there's still a lot of like catching up to do. There's still a lot of falling back to do, and there's still a lot of holes that like need to be filled up and stuffed. You know, that we got to figure out exactly what. Right? Why are you being weird? There's a lot of holes that need to be filled up, and it's gonna take until the major to really sit here decisively and like call out the individual bits and pieces about what's going to make a team great or what's going to make them, you know, what's made them good and bad and all that stuff. We're getting there. The research, like the little data points are getting us there, but we need some more games, some more matches, and one more and a LAN to really give us what we need to call it out definitively.
Have we said enough on FaZe, or do we want to have a final word on these guys? Because they've managed to go from starting the tournament at rock bottom. I mean, look, I'm just going to say it. They were my dark horse. What did I say? Before the tournament began, we did dark horse predictions. I said it was FaZe. And
this team's too talented to not be good. I think maybe they were in their own heads a little bit at the start of the game. And I think we saw they weren't perfect by no means. You know, 3-2 against Rocker. They weren't perfect by no means, but they beat the best team in the game that we all think is LA Thieves, if I'm not mistaken. And they won this minor. And I think we're in a situation right now where FaZe are on the come up, and it's scary for everyone else because this is a team that stayed together from last year. They won EWC.
It's back-to-back tournament wins, kind of.
Back-to-back. And Abizi's playing like a demon, who I predicted is going to get MVP this year. So I need him to keep it up, to be honest with you, because I like being right. Love being right. Love it.
I be in barbershops and they be saying, "Oh, Celium really isn't a shooter." They be saying, Celium looks like he got a funny voice. They be Celium's callouts are bad. They're not. You can't hear them. All I see is a certified shooter dropping a 1.5. All I see is a guy who's one of the best players in the goddamn game. All I see is a guy who y'all were saying to drop about a week ago in our poll saying, "Oh, this is one player that needs to go is Celium." But now all of a sudden, silence. It's beautiful. I'm going to be the #1 absolute Schmeat rider for Celium to the day I drop. #1, GOAT. He is so good. Wait, Dashy. I did say Dashy.
He changes this every week, by the way.
I'm not changing it. I'm not changing it. I'm not
week.
changing it. I knew you were going to say it. I was mentally prepped for you to say this, man. I was mentally prepped. Dashy still is, currently, the best they are consistently in the game. Celium's, the hate train that came for him last year, and even when they were having their struggles, this last few weeks leading into this minor, the level of hate he gets and people wanting to drop him so like immediately is mind-blowing to me. He's a generational talent. He's one of the best players that we've ever had in the CDL. Why are we saying we should drop this guy? Why is he even on the board of someone we should drop? Why is there hate towards him at all? He's consistently been one of the best. I don't get it. It actually hurts me so much that he gets hate for no reason, for being quote-unquote slow, and yes, engagements aren't perfect, but you can't argue to 1.5. If your engagements are ass and you're dropping a 0.7, sure. 1.5, 1.2, 1.3, 1.1, 1.5, I don't want to hear it. Chalk it up. Get your Celium hate out of here, bro. It's not welcome on Dope Check. It's not welcome in my presence. It's not welcome in my
Oh
presence.
my god, mate. He's still
Hey,
going.
didn't he say that? I swear he said that Cell was like, you know, if there's one player that needs to go after, if FaZe do ban,
No,
it's Cell.
I said Draza. I said Draza. What the hell? Don't put words in my mouth. That was the chat. That was the poll in the chat. We can go back and watch it. I said Cell is not the guy, and I disagreed with them. Nice try. Nice try. Nice
Right,
try.
every
nice
week
try.
I have to listen to the exact same speech Ace gives, but on a different
But it has
player.
to be.
Sometimes it's Cell,
it's either
sometimes it's
Dashi,
sometimes it's Dashi,
sometimes it
it's
might be
Sip,
Scrap.
sometimes maybe it's Attach. Maybe this week
You
it's
know-
gonna be Priester. Maybe he's bringing it back. Maybe next week
Don't
it's gonna
you love
be
it?
Lamar.
You guys love it. I feed, okay? This
I
show
wake up
is
every
starving
single
and
day.
I'm feeding, okay?
Ace is like one of
Wow,
those
man.
guys where you booked up a place to go for food and you're like, yo, you ready to go? And he's like, nah, I don't really want that place no more, man. Let's go somewhere else.
No, I do say if
You
it's
can't be
not.
having them.
I do say if it's not over 4 stars on Yelp, I'm not going. That's actually real, absolutely real, bro.
Damn,
Listen,
I've been broke too long, man. 2 stars will do me just fine.
I won't do it. My whole thing is, man, I just it really does annoy me though. Like
I will
y'all,
tip
do y'all
Cell
not
though.
agree?
Like he
Do you
turned
not
up
agree
in the
with me?
finals. No, I don't entirely disagree. I think like Celium's had his criticisms, but I also feel like the entire team is gonna get criticized when you've had all this talent and potential, and then things are a little bit shaky. And look, Celium absolutely farmed here in the grand finals, and I will say for Cell, most series he's played, at least this weekend, he just got better every series. Like, he started the weekend and Zinni was on stream saying that this might be the worst Cell's ever looked. And then he closes out the weekends by getting better and better, and then finishes with a 1.5. But this is genuinely the first series this season where Celium has dropped a Celium stat line. Like, this is a Celium stat line. And it's the first time we've actually seen it on the season. But it's in the grand finals of a tournament, so, what more can you want?
Yeah, I want to check what his overall is so far this year, though.
He has like a 1.1. I mean, I can bring it up pretty easily. Like,
Yeah,
Cell's sitting at a 1.06 overall KD. Like, if you look at his numbers, his matches, like, I can look at completed games. Like, he's dropped, look, 0.94, 0.97, 8.5, 1.05, 0.93, 1.18, 1.1, 1.5. So, like, there's definitely a progression upwards there, and certainly if you look at Slayer rating, he started playing this tournament a lot faster towards the end, anyway.
That's like, I get it's crazy. Like again, we say it's not a Cell.
Cell plays faster and they win. Oh my god! Wow, this is rocket science.
That's
like,
true. That narrative is true for sure. We will continue to spew that on this show forever. But my thing is, him not being at Celium level is still, at this point after this weekend and all that stuff, he's still like 13th in overall KD. You get what I'm trying to say? Him not being at Celium level is just not being like in the top 5. He's still 13th in the league in overall KD. He's still progressively getting better. He's still a good reason why they're winning series. He's still making quality plays and in the right positions on the map if you watch the series. So, yeah, I mean, early hate of the season, I think, is just going to keep getting squashed as we go on. So I'm excited for that. Celium hate is not welcome here.
We've got one final thing to do before we close out the show. I got one more clip. It's from Shotzzy.
God.
He's talking about AG and bringing him back. This is what he had to say. Ah, shit, there's music in the background. Right, let me just be careful 1 second.
Idiots. E-dub in the 5 months state.
Hang on.
Like, it from here first. Don't think we are getting AG, dude.
There we go. That's the quote. He basically said, heard it from me first. AG ain't coming back. Now, there's a couple of ways to read this. One option is they're confident in the current team. They're not bringing anyone else in. Hook's the man. They're going to commit to Hook. They don't want to make any more changes. They don't want any more BS in the team. That's part of the plan. Sure, get that. Other alternative is the Pred situation's untenable. He ain't coming back. I think this is what we talked about before. It's certainly my opinion. I'm not exactly sure what your take was on it at the time, Trey, but like, Pred coming back to the league, I think absolutely is a possibility. I'd love to see it happen. Pred coming back to OpTic, I don't see it personally.
Trey, you want to cook? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I think the way I take that is, one, he also doesn't want to sit there and be like, yeah, I'd love Pred back because Hugh's on the team. 2, he's also, the way I take it as well is I like Pred, but I wouldn't want to team with him again.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, your first take is definitely what I was gonna go after. It is to me. It's just like you can't sit there on stream live, as much crap as you talked and all that. Like, yeah, you're on your villain arc, but you can't be like, yeah, I'd rather replace my current teammate with another guy. You can't do that. That's insane. So he has to run with this narrative. The secondary one, just because I was there for it and I saw it. I mean, those two are boys. So your second one, I don't really.
Nah, see, you can be boys, but no,
weight in that.
you can be boys, but you don't want to, like, you know, there's certain people I'm friends with that I wouldn't have teamed with. You know, that's my point. Maybe
Sure,
something
but
happened.
did you win a chip with them?
Yeah.
And you want to team with them again after winning a chip?
Like, there's been teammates where, you know, I've won a chip, like even like a European chip, and just gone, nah, I'm good.
Interesting. That's kind of wild. I mean, okay, that's unique. I didn't expect to hear that.
Well, nah, because there's you know, players that you just get along with as friends and teammates, and there's players that you're just there for business.
I don't know. I think that duo together is clearly. What the hell's going on here?
Can I like back out of this? Or won't let me back out? Oh, whatever.
I didn't even know you could back out.
I tried to vote in my poll and it's just cooked my whole thing. So let me refresh this.
Just drag it out. It's okay. It's towards the end of the show. Just drag it out anyways. Drag it out.
I'll figure it out. All good.
Yeah, no, my whole thing is, like, again, from everything I know, and again, I'm speaking from being there, sitting down with those guys, talking to them and hearing, you know, like not every day, but like I'm there. I've heard stuff from them there. They were good about being teammates. They were good about the game. They were good about that stuff. So like, I wouldn't put too much weight on your second one. I'd put more weight on your first one, more than everything. Just like you can't shit talk your team right before a major one is in a couple weeks. You got matches coming up. You just had a little bit of a rough spot with your current team just lost, where most people would agree they shouldn't have lost. So, yeah, it's just politics.
I think it's also to note how quick he just gets over with the conversation.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like like we've obviously had this whole AG talk, but like, you know, they still don't speak about AG's name like that crazy. You know what I'm saying? It was just a quick, like, don't think we're getting back, done and dusted. What's next to talk about? You know, that's the reason I say it. I'm not saying them two don't like each other. I know they do. Pred tweets him. You know, if they weren't friends, they wouldn't. You know, whatever like that. I just don't see him playing on OpTic again.
Interesting. I'm still of the camp that it's completely, the whole league is open for him. It just depends who needs his service. Like that's honestly all it is to me.
I think
underperforms
he'll be
major
back
one
in the
and
league.
needs him to come on.
He'll be back in the league. I just don't think it's for OpTic. That's my take.
Sure. Yeah. I get that.
I think that's a fair take. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have been going, according to my calculations, 3 hours, 7 minutes. This is the first 3-hour show in a good time. It used to be a classic, but this weekend has been big, and I'm not surprised at all that we've hit the 3-hour mark with, pretty easily at the end of the day. Shout out Yoda King for making it happen, because if it wasn't for that, then we probably wouldn't have got the extra little 15 minutes of content. But look, gentlemen, it's been an absolute pleasure to be back with you all, and I'm going to go back to the full cam. And give you guys the opportunity to give some final thoughts. Trey, and then I'll pass to Ace and you can close out the show.
Absolutely.
Great show. Great week. There's never a dull dope check. There's always drama in the scene. Be it players, Shotzzy talking smack about other players, Nadeshot talking smack about his team. It's all here. People changing their rebranding mid-series, mid-ep. We have it all here, and we address it all. If there's anything that we don't address, you know, make sure you get at us at the at our Dope Check Twitter community, and you know, we look at that every single day to make sure that we address what you guys want us to address. We have our own notes, but if you guys want us to address anything else, make sure you get in there and let us know. We have Reddit as well, so listen, we appreciate the support. We've had like 700 people averaged all day, all this stream, and Dope Check to the moon, man.
Absolutely, brother. And to just to piggyback a little bit, shout out to the people that stopped by today. We had Sensor stop by, Eric Kahn, And of course, we have to shout out Yoda King, of course, the new legend, the new challenger's up and comer. Again, it wouldn't be possible without everyone watching. Shout out to everyone that's been here from the beginning, that got here in the middle, that's at work right now, whatever you're doing, listening to us, watching us, whatever you're doing, we appreciate you. This episode will be live very soon, so make sure if you can, even if you watched it here, just go on YouTube, hit a quick like, drop a random comment, hit subscribe if you're not subscribed. Do what you got to do, but we appreciate you. We love you. And next week, we'll probably have a guest on. I just want to do a little teaser there. We'll probably have a guest on next week, somebody I was talking to. So be here next week. Should be back on Monday. We love you guys. That's episode 42 in the books. 43 next week from Rab, Trey, and myself. We appreciate you. We'll see you next week. Love you guys. We're out.